All right. I'm back live, back in action, attacking the speakers from the field to the bleachers. This is the Third and Three podcast presented by the Sports Column and brought to you by Reebok. It's 7 o'clock and it's time to rock, so let the action begin. We have a very fun-filled football show lined up for you with some NFL trivia. Each team's GOAT in the NFL, that's all-time, a little AFC North preview and predictions. The players we think are going to have really big comebacks this season, and we're also going to go over like the top 20 or so wide receivers in the league, give our opinions on that. And here to take the lead on all of that, and sure to bring the laughs as well, is the real deal, Damian Adams. And right now, introducing our newest member, D, of the Third and Three squad. LA brought us in the house. Also, before Third and Three was the Root for Sports podcast, so we love numbers over here, 3, 4, whatever it is. LA and I co-hosted a show back, man, it feels like forever ago, but it wasn't that long ago, man. I got both of you guys in the house. D, what's up, man? What's good?
Doing good, man. Just another Wednesday night. Ready to talk some football. You know, it's always makes the Wednesday nights better, so I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A little Wednesday night therapy, a little Wednesday night football. And LA is here, not making his debut to the show, but officially first debut. Third and Three podcast, man. I mean, he's always been in the family, but now, we actually have his signature written down. So, his life is paid away to Third and Three now. We love you, man. What's up, bro?
Thanks for having me again. Thanks to everybody, to y'all and to Nikki for, accepting me into the family officially. Absolutely. So definitely grateful and I'm just ready to get to work, man. Talk to y'all. Do some things on the sports scene, man, and hopefully we can break some more barriers, man, and keep on going. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, with Root for Sports, man, we were definitely ahead of our time. I remember being on there with you celebrating your 60th birthday.
You're already attacking me. I love it.
Look, y'all. In case you didn't know, Jason is old, so I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, man, well, look, obviously you get an honesty with LA. He ain't going to BS you on nothing right now because that's the truth. I am old and I got gray in my beard, but I buzz it to keep it looking cooler, right? So got a little bit of that, salt and pepper action going on. It's all good. It's all good. Yes, LA is here, baby. Root for Sports is coming back. Third and Three, it's 4th and 4. But now LA is going to be doing a lot of writing. Obviously, that's his bread and butter, but he also does podcasting, man. He knows his stuff. So he's going to be doing a lot of Third and Three. Not just filling in, but on the show as well throughout the NFL season. And we're going to talk a lot of NFL right now. We are ready to roll. My name is Jason Fierman, the Sports Prophet, on the mic with you every Wednesday night. We'll do our best to get by without Tricky Nikki. Yes, she is the boss. We don't want to disappoint her. So we're going to do our best for you, Nikki. I'm going to try knowledge with Nikki. I'm going to do it your style, but I'm going to still bring sports back into it. All right. So no doubt you are missed tonight's show, but best believe LA is going to bring the noise, baby, like Public Enemy. So let's freaking go. All right. Meat Works. Neighborhood news time. Let's do it. High quality meat straight to your door. Meat Works is an online custom butchery with the highest quality cuts produced by American farmers. Ooh, and I love that stuff, man. Members customize their own box or select from one of the curated boxes. 10 to 20% off USDA prime beef compared to shopping at local butchers or grocery stores, wherever you go. So with Meat Works, you will always be eating great meat. Just go to thirdandthreepodcast.com. We'll take care of you over there. All right, lots of NFL guys we're going to talk right now. And I posted something a few days ago on Twitter, and people thought that I actually made it. I'm like, no, I don't know how to do graphics like that. It was this thing which each NFL's team's GOAT. So people are coming at me like, oh, he shouldn't be the GOAT for that. He shouldn't be the GOAT. I'm like, look, I didn't write it. I just put it up there. So I wanted to get you guys' damn opinions. So there you go. And it got a lot of action. So I figured we talk about it a little bit over here, because there are a few teams that are questionable. I wish I had it up on the screen right now, but I don't know how to do that. Like LA said, I'm old, so I really can't figure out how to do these things on the computer side. Technicalities over here. But starting with Atlanta real quick, and I'm not going in alphabetical order by any means. And D, this is a team that you hate, so you'll love to answer this question. They got Julio Jones as the GOAT for that team. I guess you can go Matt Ryan, Michael Vick. Anybody else come to mind, or do you think they got it right?
Julio's not a bad choice. You can definitely go Matt Ryan, though, for sure. Quarterback that led them to their, Super Bowl appearance here in the most recent one, where they lost that 28-3 lead. You have to throw that in there and remind that happened for sure. But yeah, Julio Jones could definitely be the right answer there. I wouldn't go Vic just because Vic definitely probably had the biggest impact as far as culture, is because he just went with Atlanta. Right?
Yeah.
Like him being there just was the perfect match until, of course, the whole dogfighting thing happened. But Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, I would go with those two, and maybe you could throw Deion in there as well, just the best talent they ever had.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But he wasn't there long enough to really stamp himself in this conversation. So I have no problem with Julio Jones being an answer there because he's definitely a Hall of Fame receiver. And with Matt Ryan, he's kind of on the edge if you want to talk about Hall of Fame. So if you want to put a Hall of Famer there, Julio Jones is your best bet.
I like it. That's an interesting one with Matt Ryan being in the Hall of Fame. When he actually hangs up his cleats over there, I'd like to talk about that one. Getting to one Super Bowl, not getting the job done, and I don't know if he's going to with the Colts, even though he's got a really good chance. But LA don't want to get away from that too much. Michael Vick, Deion Sanders, I don't know, because look, he played for them, the Niners, the Cowboys, and then he finished with the Redskins and the Ravens. That really doesn't make a difference. But I don't know. Would you consider, because I think he was there for his first 4 or 5 years of his career, or would you go to Julio Jones?
Well, all right, let's go ahead and be honest here. We're talking about a mid team, okay? and when we're talking about a mid team, we have to think about the best player on a mid team. And I don't have a problem with Julio Jones whatsoever. I know you brought up Deion, but when everybody thinks Deion, they think Cowboys. Honestly, let's be real.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and with Matt Ryan, he's always just gonna have that 28-3 stigma on his name. So I really, like I said, we're thinking about a mid team right now, man. And I really don't have nobody else to really give to you that I can think about.
Yeah, I guess it's to be true. It depends on, again, what you think of and, how long somebody's career is over there. And I guess Super Bowl does come into it, obviously. So there's a lot of different things. All right. I think the Cardinals got it right with Fitzgerald, Ray Lewis for Baltimore. I'm not going to argue that. Bills, Bruce Smith, I can't argue it. But if somebody went ahead and threw Thurman Thomas in there, that wouldn't piss me off either. But Bruce Smith, all-time sack leader. So I think, D, they got it right with that one, huh?
Yeah, I would go Bruce Smith there. A few years from now, it'll probably be Josh Allen.
Ooh,
but Bruce Smith for now.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like that name can definitely change in a few years.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I like that. All right, cool. Carolina Panthers, that's an interesting one. I would say they got Steve Smith Sr. there. LA, I would say I'd probably, because he was more productive for a longer period of time over, I guess Cam Newton would be the other one. Cam Newton did take him to a Super Bowl. Steve Smith did go to a Super Bowl with Jake Delhomme as the quarterback. I don't know. It's interesting. What do you think?
I think like bringing up what D said. What Damian said about with like how he was talking about how like Mike Vick embodied Atlanta. When I think Steve Smith, I think Carolina. Like he really embodied them. He carried the weight for the team. Throughout their years. Even when they had success and when they didn't have success. So honestly. Yeah, I'm not mad at Steve Smith being there at all. And then again, if Steve Smith listens to this show, please don't. I'm saying you so you don't like beat us up or nothing like that.
Yeah. That's somebody I wouldn't mess with. I'll tell you that right now. Right? If we're doing dinner fight club, I'm definitely taking him in with me to back him up in a fight. He may be 5'10", 5'11", but that dude can scrap. There's no doubt. No doubt. Sure. Yeah, so I'm kind of with LA on that one, D. I don't want to mess with Steve Smith, now senior on this one. But that's probably the right answer. What do you think?
Yeah, I would go Steve Smith Sr. as well. Same argument for why I went Julio over Matt Ryan. Cam Newton's not going to be a Hall of Famer. I think Steve Smith Sr. has a chance to be in the Hall of Fame. So if you're going to go with the GOAT for your team, you want it to be a Hall of Famer. So I'm going to go Steve Smith Sr. there.
Steve Smith better be in the Hall of freaking Fame. I forgot, C. Lou threw it out there a few days ago. Where does he rank? Like all time. Did you guys catch that on Twitter at all?
I missed that one. See, Lou's putting up so many different rankings, man.
I know. We love you, Chris. We love you, baby. Oh man, but so some people were saying top 20, some went top 30, and then some kind of outrageous. He's like top 50. I'm like, well, okay. I'm like, that's a little bit too. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, he may be a top 25 receiver of all time when you think about all that he's done. It's very.
I was gonna say maybe like 25 to 30 is not egregious at all.
No.
But if you're talking about like 50, like that's
No,
crazy.
that's crazy, right? And you know, we're talking about a long history in the NFL, a lot of great wide receivers, and he belongs in, you know, that upper echelon. He better be in the Hall of Fame at some point. So, all right. Chicago got it right, Walter Payton, and I think the Bengals got it right with Anthony Munoz. I don't think there's any better player in the history of that organization.
That's another one that's going to change in a few years as well.
Yeah, right. It could be either Joe or Jamar. It could be either one of them. Gosh, who knows? Your team, LA, Jim Brown. I mean, can you really argue with that?
I actually can.
Really? Okay, I like to hear it.
It's not a popular name that too many people know unless you know your history. But I could also throw Otto Graham on there too.
Wow, that's all right. Now we're talking some real history, right?
Yeah, because he got us all our national championships before there was a Super Bowl. If you look at his record is immaculate. Like his winning percentage is crazy. They were like actually dominating. I don't have a problem with Jim Brown whatsoever because, of course, everybody knows him because of the fact of how he not only played football, but then also like what he did off the field too. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as his popularity there. But yeah, I honestly can argue Otto Graham there.
That's you know what, you certainly can. There's no doubt. Yeah, but you know, you bring in like cultural significance and things that he did for his community, Jim Brown, and that's, you know, that goes so. Remember? Well, I don't remember. Obviously, I wasn't alive at the point, but him and
you know, he was alive. He was right there. Seen Rosa Parks get off the bus and everything. Come on, man.
This is exactly why he's here, folks. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I love it. Yo, you're killing me. Oh, my God. All right, how about them Cowboys? Emmitt Smith, all-time leading rusher. I don't think he's the best player, maybe, Damian, but all-time leading rusher, it's kind of hard to argue. I mean, but there are so many great players in that franchise. Would you go Irvin, Aikman, Staubach? I don't know, man. What do you think?
I think Emmitt Smith is the right answer because he's the all-time leading rusher and how long he was with the franchise. Michael Irvin probably is the best player to ever play for them, but because of his longevity, I would go with Emmitt Smith. Yeah, man, and that's the biggest one that people came again at me as if I made this list, and they were like, "No, Emmitt Smith." If definitely. It will probably be Michael Irvin because I know how much you love Michael Irvin.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Playmaker, man. As much as I can love a Dallas Cowboy, for God's sake, but it's hard for me to argue that one, LA. I can't really argue it.
All right, y'all might hate me for this, but I can see what y'all saying with Michael Irvin. He just needs chapstick. His lips are always ashy, but that's another conversation. But no, I gotta agree with Damian.
Damian losing it. Damian's losing
it. No, I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Damian though. Like Emmitt Smith is the right answer. They did have a lot of great players to come through. Again, we would have to hit you up for that knowledge since when last time the Cowboys were great, you were right there.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying, to be able to see it. So, but yeah, I'm not changing Emmitt.
Yeah. There we go, Emmitt. Maybe George Teague would like to argue that with us. Bring him back on. Broncos, Elway, Lions, Barry Sanders, Green Bay. They have Aaron Rodgers. I think he's the best player that's been in Green Bay. I'm not. I can go back to, again, when I was just born in 1966 with Bart Starr and those guys, but, I'm not that crazy. But, no, Aaron Rodgers, that works for me, Damian. I'm cool with that one.
Yeah, if you're not going with Aaron Rodgers, it's because you don't like him. It's not because of what's on the football field. Yeah, it's because you got a whole problem with him and the man bun and being immunized instead of vaccinated. You have an issue with that.
Right.
What he did on the football field. But when it comes down to the football field, Aaron Rodgers is the best Packer ever for sure.
He's the best. I'm telling you. And Elliot, I remember first seeing him when he came in this Cowboy game. It was 2007, I think it was. I'm trying to remember the year exactly, but I think it was 2007. Again, Brett Favre always in and out of the lineup, but he just came in and lit up the Cowboys defense. And the Packers said, you know what? That's it. Brett's out. You can keep retiring all you want. We're going with Aaron Rodgers. And ever since then, man, he's been one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play. So I got to go with him.
Yeah, I really hate the Packers for this because there's so many franchises out there that really they go for years and years and years, as you know, with the Browns. We look for a quarterback for years and years and years, and then these jokers go from Brett Favre right to Aaron Rodgers.
You ain't kidding, man.
Come on, man.
That is ridiculous, really. I mean, to have quarterbacks play really for that long, and when Rodgers is gone, they're going to get lucky somehow and get the next best thing. It's just going to happen. But they're only going to win one Super Bowl because that apparently is a stigma with these Packers, their quarterbacks. All right, Houston, J.J. Watt. I don't know, man.
That's a tough one.
I don't know. I'm thinking like Andre Johnson could be in that conversation right there. What do you think, D?
I would go J.J. Watt slightly over Andre Johnson because J.J. Watt in those first 5 years it was ridiculous what J.J. was doing those first 2 years. Like, it was crazy when he was healthy. With 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Years with 20 sacks. And the things that he did when he wasn't getting sacks, all the blocks at the line of scrimmage, the interceptions, playing tight end at times, getting touchdowns. I think we're starting to forget how good he was when he was healthy. Dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think Andre Johnson gets in as well. He's definitely somebody who's underrated because he played on some bad Houston teams. Played with Pick Six, Matt Swab. But when you think about the impact the player had on that team, I got to go with J.J. Watt slightly over Andre Johnson.
I get it because you're right. I mean, during that time, again, healthy is the key word. He was unstoppable. I mean, again, like I said, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He was considered for MVP a couple of times. Before Aaron Donald, there was J.J. Watt. So I get it. I'm not mad at it, but I wouldn't be upset if they considered somebody else. But LA, what do you think?
No, you got an argument with Johnson. I think we were just debating that in a Twitter space.
It was Johnson versus someone. It was another wide receiver. Why can't it? It wasn't Calvin Johnson. It was Andre Johnson versus.
Man, I can't even remember. But we were just debating that, and I think it might have been in Ashley's Sports After Dark. I can't remember what room it was, but I definitely like Johnson. But as you guys said, we didn't see. I mean, the way that J.J. Watt came on the scene was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know y'all talking about health and stuff, but the man actually did play through a lot of his injuries, like a lot too. Because in my recent memory, I can remember that iconic photo of him stretching out his arms and he got that arm brace on or whatever that brace was that he was wearing. He was still going at it. And I mean, man, when you talk about dominance, man, that was some dominant stuff, especially for because the Texans was an expansion team, man. So you know what I'm saying? We didn't really see too many good people on their team like that. And then it was J.J. Watt came along and just wrecked it.
Yeah. Now he's definitely one of the toughest players of all time for sure. Even last year, coming back from the injury where he had 3 separate injuries on his left arm. It was a labrum, bicep, and tricep they tore. Came back to play in the playoffs. He's absolutely crazy when it comes to football. His toughness and what he was able to do when absolutely healthy was just crazy.
Mm-hmm. You guys make a good point. And LA used, I think, maybe a real key word there, dominance. He was probably the most dominating player at his position in Houston Texan history. So I can get on board with that. Chiefs, Tony Gonzalez. Again, that's probably going to be a different answer in a couple of years also, if not already. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, come on. He's amazing. Jacksonville's an interesting one, but I think they probably got it right. Fred Taylor, D?
Ooh, that's a tough one. My man, MJD, sitting right
there. Ooh. Yeah. Who's the running back, MJD or Fred Taylor? Wow. Okay. Talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
That's what I'm saying. That's a tough one because Fred Taylor was an absolute monster athletically. He's another one who, when it came to staying healthy, it was a big thing for him, but man, he was a monster. But Maurice Jones-Drew, human bowling ball, could do it all from running the ball, catching out the backfield. Great blocker. He was one of the people that blew up people. They came to blitz, he blew them up when they came back there. You also can throw in Mark Brunell. You're talking about those early years of the Jaguars, and when they were successful, they were upsetting Denver in the playoffs and stuff like that. Mark Brunell is a big part of that. They have a sneaky good history. To say they haven't really won anything, they have a sneaky history where you're like, okay, Jacksonville from time to time has done things, and then they'll go through these dry spouts like they're in now.
Right.
But they have a good history, but Fred Taylor, I'm not mad at it at all, but I would just throw Maurice Jones-Drew in there as another candidate.
No, I dig it. That's fair. I like that you said Mark Brunell. He's a forgotten guy. So is like Fred Taylor, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell. I feel like that whole foursome are basically forgotten. But I like that right there too. MJD. That's really interesting, man. And wow. All right. Okay. All right. What do you think, LA?
I really can't. I was trying to like just go off the top of the head without like looking it up, but I was just thinking like more so. Didn't Fred like have like he had a longer career, right? So maybe that's why he's there over MJD.
Maybe, or maybe because he was like the first really good running back they had in their short history. I mean, I remember that 1999 season where they basically ended Dan Marino's career and they beat him 62-7 in the playoffs. I mean, they just absolutely romped him, Jacksonville, and they made this incredible run. They were 14-2. If memory serves, I hope I'm right. They were 14-2, and I swear to God, the only 2 games they lost that season were to the Tennessee Titans. Then in the playoffs, they played the Titans again and beat them. The Titans beat them 3 times that year. The only 3 losses that Jacksonville had were 2 in the regular season to Tennessee and then 1 in the postseason to Tennessee, because I know the Titans went on to play the Rams that year in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, excuse me. And that was the first, show on turf sort of thing. So, wow, that's really interesting. Wow, I am old. Holy shit. All right, Raiders.
Real quick, Jay, just to
go ahead.
Put it in perspective. So Fred Taylor did have a longer career, like LA was saying. But Maurice Jones-Drew had like a better prime. So when you look at Maurice Jones-Drew in his 3 best years, he got you over 1,300 yards, led the league in 2011 with 1,600 yards rushing, and also was good at receiving the ball as well. Like I mentioned earlier, had almost 400 yards receiving, which back then was a lot for running back.
Absolutely.
Fred Taylor never got close to that receiving except for 1 year in 2002. But he had more 1,000-yard seasons over his career and played, like I said, did play longer. So it's a tough one if you want to go peak versus longevity on that one. Yeah. But Fred Taylor's not a bad choice.
Okay.
No, go ahead, if you're going to say, because I like that. That's some good backup evidence right there. I like that.
No, that's what I was doing. I was about to like look it up because I was like very curious. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to, just be shooting off the top of the head like that crazy. But I mean, no, that makes sense though. I mean, because. And then again, too, like, like with Jones-Drew, like, like Fred Taylor kind of like passed him the baton because, they was on the team at the same time and everything. Was it like one of those nice little duos back then as well? So, I mean, and Jones-Drew definitely did have a tear, like in his peak. He did go through and crush some people, like, so. But yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem with if you want to argue with Jones-Drew or, having Fred Taylor there, it's fine with me.
All right, cool. No, I like it. And yeah, I'm double checking that. Jacksonville was 14-2 that season, and the losses came to Tennessee. That's just amazing. Wow, unbelievable how that happens. Whew. All right, let's go through a few more of these real quick. I like the Chargers. They went with LaDainian Tomlinson. I think he's a top 5 running back of all time, so I got no problem there, D.
Yeah, the only other person I could think of is maybe Antonio Gates that you could throw in there.
Okay.
Antonio Gates was definitely a monster. He's going to be a Hall of Famer for sure. But LaDainian Tomlinson, you could make an argument is top 5 back of all time.
Yeah, man.
So it's hard to argue against him.
Yeah, some old timers might say Dan Fouts or Kellen Winslow, senior. That would be like me. I'm old, but LA with LT Junior.
I'm cool. I'm cool with LT. LT is actually one of my like top 3 favorite backs, like personally.
Me too. Me too.
I really like LT. But I also got to show some love to Antonio Gates, man. You know what I'm saying? He went to Kent State up here in Ohio. Took us to like I think it was the Sweet 16 or took them to the Sweet 16. You know what I'm saying? Before he went to the NFL. So definitely got a lot of love for Antonio Gates. And but I'm not mad at LT at all.
No, hell of an athlete, Antonio.
Antonio Gates is a real cool dude, man. When I was in the Navy in San Diego, that's when he was with the Chargers. Got a haircut at the same place. Plenty of times when I was in line about to get my haircut, as soon as he come in, he skipped the line.
Yeah.
I had to wait. Gates is here. We got to wait and get our haircut. But now he would come in, and one thing I always noticed about him, he would always tip the barber. At that time, haircuts were a lot cheaper than they are now. I was like $20. He would always leave like $200. And every time the barber would act like he got to get him a change back, knowing that he was going to say, no, you can keep it.
Right.
But I always did respect that. Like, okay, he's out here hooking him up for letting him skip the line and come through and get his haircut. And he was real cool. He always talked to everybody. He wasn't a big, like, oh, I'm a star and all that stuff. We rapped and everything. So, he was a real cool dude.
I like that. That's really cool. I love when athletes don't get too high in themselves and they realize that they're just people just like everybody else. I've had the pleasure of meeting quite a few, and some of them are really, really down to earth, man. And I love that. I really appreciate the hell out of that, no doubt. All right. But another thing about LT, though, again, I'm with you, Ellie. He's one of my favorite players, man. Not many people can look as incredibly sharp in a uniform as that guy. I mean, especially with the visor. Like, he wore an NFL uniform like a freaking model or something like that. It was amazing. And the speed, everything he displayed, unbelievable. Raiders went with – go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's an underrated thing. People that look good in the uniform. Like, I think Cam Newton is somebody else who, like, when you saw
that's
like,
true.
Okay, this dude, it's like, okay, this
well, they got some fire colors though. I mean, like, their uniforms are nice.
It adds on to it. It does. I know. And Jerry Rice always looked great in his uniform. I'll be the first one to admit the 49ers do not have the prettiest uniforms in the world, but he was so meticulous, Jerry Rice, that he honestly said, he's like, I needed to look good in order to play good. Like, look good, feel good, play good sort of thing. It's a mentality, man. I love it.
Yeah. Another one you could add to the list is Vic when he had that dark visor, a quarterback with a dark visor.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh my God. When they had like them really short like sleeves for the jerseys that came like Vic looks sick. You're right, man. Yeah. You're right. It's a good call. That's a good call. I like that. All right. Keep busing through a little bit. Dan Marino for the Dolphins, obviously.
Yeah. No.
Minnesota, they got Randy Moss. I mean, he's probably the best player they ever had at any position. People mention Frank Tarkenton bringing them to Super Bowls, but he's nowhere near the player position for position that Randy Moss is, right, LA?
Yeah, that Randy Moss and what was it, Chris Carter combo?
Yeah. Jeez. Dante Culpepper throwing the ball like 90 yards in the air. It was nuts.
Man, that was a nasty like little combo. I remember I would pick them and Matt and like back in the day. And, and just run up the score. So yeah, I can't be mad at the Randy Moss at all, even though he's a butthole in real life. But
he's a what? I'm sorry.
I say he's a butthole in real life though.
He's
Moss isn't cool.
Nah, he's not cool at all.
I didn't know that. I thought I thought he was cool. Like after watching him at ESPN, I thought he changed his whole attitude. No,
he might have changed it up, but I know when I interviewed him, when I was doing the Hall of Fame, when he got into the Hall of Fame that year.
Yeah.
Nah, he was either I caught him on the wrong day or something like that, but nah, he was not a nice dude.
Yeah, maybe you're right, man.
That's the worst, man.
Oh man, that stinks, bro. Hate to hear that.
Especially, but again, I might have caught him on the wrong day. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, not everybody's having a good day. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, that's true. That's true. But there's also, respect and manners and things like that. Regardless of who you are. I mean, if I'm having a bad day, I'm not going to tell somebody who's like next to me in line at the grocery store, "Yo, fuck off." I'm not gonna.
I mean, it was.
Nobody told you that. I mean,
I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I thought he would have been happy. Like, I'm like, dog, you in the Hall of Fame. Like, we here at your Hall of Fame celebration. Like, but he was just not happy that day. I don't know what it was.
All right, hopefully it just was a bad day for him because I used to not like him myself. I'm with you. And you man, Cortland Griffin saying, "What's up? What's up?"
What up, Cortland?
Hey, what's happening, bro?
All right.
I can see Fran Tarkenton there though, just because of what he did for the team, leading to those Super Bowls back in the day, and he was somebody who kind of was a modern quarterback back then. You think about his mobility and what he was able to do along with his arm talent. He was definitely a very talented quarterback who kind of gets lost in the conversation because of time. But Randy Moss, freak, like you said, just absolutely ridiculous what he was able to do those first few years with the Vikings. So I can see Fran Tarkenton if you want to go with somebody who was there longer, who had more team success. But as far as a talent, it's Randy Moss, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. The only player that I can think of, and again I'm dating myself over here, but the Purple People Eaters, Leonard Marshall was one of those guys that you just did not want to mess around with. I mean, he's again not Randy Moss's level, but he may be the next best one on the list. I don't know. All right, let's keep going. The Patriots. I don't know why they put Tom Brady. That was stupid. All right, the Saints. You good with Drew Brees? They got as their number one guy. He brought you your only Super Bowl. I mean, is he the one?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Drew
Yeah.
Brees. I always say that the statue outside the Superdome should be Drew Brees and Sean Payton going over a play sheet together. Like they
Oh, I
changed the
like
whole
that.
outlook. Yeah, they changed the whole outlook of the franchise. So Drew Brees, no-brainer there.
Man, I want to talk more Saints with you, right? The Saints are such a hot topic. We're going to get to them later. Plus, in the wide receiver rankings, Michael Thomas. Some people are saying things that you're not going to like, but I know you know better than that. You good with the Drew Brees, LA, for the Saints?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna say like, I mean, like I wasn't gonna say Reggie Bush or that, like
Yeah. Oh man, he was disappointing, man. Reggie, but I really thought he was going to come into the NFL and not be Barry Sanders, but that Thurman Thomas. I thought he was going to kind of like live up to that billing, but all right, didn't happen. What are you going to do? Giants, another LT, Lawrence Taylor. I'm not even going to waste time. The Jets, I'll waste time on this one. Joe Namath, that's who they have. Whoever the hell made this. Joe Namath sucks. He's like the 90th best quarterback that ever lived. I mean, there's so many players I could think of. And the first player that came to mind, Curtis Martin. I mean, he's still, top 5 all-time rushing, right, D? I would go with him.
Yeah, Curtis Martin, consistency. Another one when it comes to consistent over time. He wasn't crazy athletic. He wasn't this guy who was just going to burst for 90 yards all the time, but consistently getting you 4, 5, 6 yards a rush. Curtis Martin, somebody who did that all the time, and that led to all the yards he gained over his career. So I would go Curtis Martin there. And honestly, I was going to think of other Jets, but maybe go like a Wayne Corbett. Other guys. But it's Curtis Martin, I think, by far is the and maybe throw Darrelle Revis in there. Short
time, but great during it. My man Brian Weinstein from back home. What's up, man? You got Vinny Testaverde. Oh, he's going back to these days. Nick Mangold too. I mean, Nick Mangold was a very good center, and Testaverde. I mean, as old as he was playing for you guys, then doing some pretty good stuff. It was pretty amazing. Brian loves his Jets, man. I'm glad that he chimed in over there. But I got to go with Curtis Martin. Right, LA. You got anybody else in mind? I mean, Wayne compared to the same college, actually.
No, I really like Curtis Martin. I still remember playing with him on Madden, it baffled me because his speed was like an 88 or something like that, or 87. But
he wasn't super fast.
Yeah, he wasn't super fast, but it was like I was breaking tackles and still like getting my yards with him.
Yeah.
So and not that I wasn't playing with the Jets. I actually was playing franchise mode and just brought him on the team. So I want to make that clear. Like, I'm not picking. I mean, unless we playing random select or something like that. But not. Now I remember Curtis Martin, like he was just unstoppable. And then, like y'all said, the longevity. I got to give him credit for that, just like how I gave Fred Taylor the credit.
No doubt. And consistency, like you said, you hit it right there. I mean, every year he gave you everything he had, and it was always good enough. I mean, like you said, 4 or 5 yards at a clip, like no problem. He followed his blockers well. He was just a really, really smart player. Really, really good player. All right, we got a couple more here to go. Steelers, Mean Joe Green. They had a lot of great players in their history. All right, so we got Mean Joe Green. We got Jerome Bettis. We got Bradshaw, Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown.
We got Troy Polamalu.
Oh, that's a good one. Wow. LA, yeah, let's talk about this. I
really don't want to talk about this.
He wasn't running damn Pittsburgh Steelers. Our resident Cleveland Brown fan over here.
but not the names that when I think I don't think Mean Joe Green and like I said, it could be because of my age or whatever like that. But when I think about the Steelers, I mean, for you not to even put of course, Big Ben deserves to be talked about as well. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like Cortland said, Hines Ward too. Yep. They just had so many freaking players, and I hate that. But,
I got them all pissed off. And that's for talking about my age, bro.
But and then even with Jerome, Jerome was another one of them. Longevity, man, consistent. Wasn't the fastest. You know what I'm saying?
He got that Super Bowl at the end, all that.
Yeah. And that's the one time I did actually cheer for them, is when he did his ring, because out of everybody, because my mom is a Steelers fan, which is probably why we butt heads so much. But
I was going to say, how the hell do you guys even talk? My goodness.
well, she don't really be into sports like that. But if her Steelers are on, then it's like okay. But anywho, but she has like the biggest crush on Jerome Bettis. Like she loves Jerome Bettis. So
he's such a great guy too. Wow.
Yeah. So I used to keep up with him in his career. So that was the one time I actually did cheer for them to see him get his ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many players. I don't know why they picked Mean Joe Green unless they was just trying to be nostalgic or something like that.
Maybe that's what they were going with. I mean, again, it's not like he's a bad answer. There's just so many other ones that could be in there, and you guys named them all, right? I mean, yeah, Hines Ward, again, that's another great one. And if we're really talking like for real, how great a player was, as much as Antonio Brown was disliked, he was incredible. You know, I mean, what he did for the Steelers, nobody else did. Lynn Swann, John Stallworth. Again, I'm so freaking old. Look at these names I'm mentioning over here. God. Oh, wow. All right. Jerry Rice for the Niners or Joe Montana. They put Jerry Rice. Would you guys go Joe Montana or Jerry Rice?
I would go Jerry Rice because he's the greatest at his position. With Joe Montana, you can make the argument that he's the GOAT, but he's in the conversation with the top 5 quarterbacks. With Jerry Rice, it's Jerry Rice, then everybody else. So that's why I would go Jerry Rice.
I love that you said that. And for everybody else talking about Terrell Owens and, Randy Moss, it's Jerry Rice all the way. Greatest. But yeah, Joe Montana, he's got the 4 Super Bowl rings, and he did win 2 Super Bowls before Jerry got there, L.A. So Cortland's liking Joe Montana. This is hard, this is hard for me.
Yeah, this is kind of like that argument, the chicken or the egg kind of thing, right? Because, like, like when you're talking about a wide receiver, then you also want to say, okay, but who is their QB? You know what I mean? Or vice versa. Like, okay, you got a QB, and then like who is their wide receivers? Like, because like for instance, like with Aaron Rodgers, right? We say that like players like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, they can make a receiver. Tom Brady can make a receiver. Mm-hmm. But we all knew that Jerry Rice didn't need to be made. Jerry Rice was Jerry Rice, right?
No doubt.
So that's why I think that this conversation is so actually such a good one because. Like you said, Joe Montana won his rings before Jerry got there, but then when Jerry got there, then they continued to elevate. And then after Joe left, like Jerry was still Jerry. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
So I mean, you really, like I said, the chicken or the egg. Like you really, it's a toss up.
That is that one may be the toughest one out of them all. There's no doubt. And I mean, Jerry was still Jerry even in 2000 with the Raiders, man, when he was lighting it up. Him and Tim Brown, Rich Gannon was their quarterback.
Hey, that was when he had the 2 far back braids, right?
Yes.
He definitely had those. He had 6 heads for sure.
Yeah. I was like, Jerry, why are you holding on to these joints, yo? Just let it go.
Yeah. Look right on him at all, man. It did not look right. It's funny. Oh man. Well, the Seahawks don't have the greatest, history in the world, but part of it started when Russell Wilson was there. They got Russell Wilson, Gosh, that's tough, man, because you can argue that Marshawn Lynch was more important. You can argue that the defense is more important, but you're going to pick out somebody. And you know how much I love Russell Wilson, so I'd probably lean that way, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Kurt Warner.
Bring his name up, man. I'm surprised you didn't bring up Steve Largent.
Steve Law, yeah. Oh, my, that's right. Wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't bring him up because a lot of people bring him up as like the guy who was the best receiver before Jerry Rice came along.
That's a good call.
Yeah, he was the one that like kind of set the standard for wide receivers before then. But if you're talking more modern, I would go Russell Wilson there. It's just tough because when they were having their best team success, Russell Wilson wasn't the Russell Wilson we know now.
Right.
So that's what makes it so tough because when they were having their team success, it was about like Cortland is saying with Bobby Wagner, or you could say Richard Sherman. You could throw him in there.
Mm-hmm.
Even Cam Chancellor, if you want to talk about somebody who it wasn't a long time, but when Cam Chancellor was healthy during that peak, he was a monster hitting people.
Earl Thomas, safety, right? Shoot. Yeah. All right. Wow.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of that, that's exactly what I was gonna say, Damian. Like to have Russell is there. I get it, right? You know what I'm saying? But their success really was that defense, and for them not to name anybody from the defense, from the Legion of Boom, anything like that, it's kind of wild to me because Russell got a lot of his. I mean, with that defense, it was that defense, and then they asked Russell not to make any mistakes.
You're right.
And that's literally what it was. And he could have had another one if they would have just handed the ball off to Marshawn. So you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, we can argue that, Russell.
Yeah. They asked Russell not to make a mistake, and he made a mistake right there at the goal line. That was a big mistake. It was a hell of a play by Malcolm Butler, though. When you talk about one of the best plays ever, I mean, that is definitely got to be top 10 because they talk about how they practiced for that play. They knew it was coming, and he just jumped the route. It was unbelievable, unreal. Okay, 3 more to go real quick. The Buccaneers, Derek Brooks. That's who they got listed, LA. Derek Brooks. Now, I mean, he was obviously Hall of Famer, monster linebacker, could have been the MVP of that Super Bowl. I mean, he was great. They have so many. They have Tampa Bay Sneaky has a lot of really interesting players like Warwick Dunn, Mike Allstott, Warren Sapp, right? I don't know. That team in 2002, unbelievable Super Bowl team. That was very dominant. Elliot, let's go to you first. What do you think? They have Derek Brooks. Rondé Barber's Cortland mentioning. That's interesting.
I don't have a problem with it at all. But if I had to, I remember Allstott well. You know what I mean? Like that's somebody that really, really sticks out to me. For him to do what he did at his position of being a fullback, like we didn't see that from that position back then normally. And we probably will never, ever see it again because the fullback is like really kind of disappearing, you know, from this NFL. So it's only like maybe 3 teams that use one these days. So I got to give a man props, man, for doing it, probably being one of the best fullbacks to ever play the game, man. So him being at the top, you know, and being a GOAT, I got to give it to him, man.
I like it. You know, that's unorthodox, but I do like it, and you make a great case. He's one of the most memorable Bucs that they have, and he was a huge part of that team's success and run. They were mostly known for defense, but they still got it done. I know. I mean, that team, they had Keenan McCardell. He went from Jacksonville to that team. He won a Super Bowl with him, D, but they got Derek Brooks. You cool with it, or are you leaning somewhere else?
So Derek Brooks, I have no problem with that selection. Like you mentioned, Hall of Famer, was a big part of that success they had late 90s, early 2000s for sure. But I'm going to throw a wild card at you. Mike Evans. When you look at his career, 1,000 yards every year. Like he's never been under 1,000 yards, extremely consistent. Going into now, this is his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10th year. Dang. Getting old
already.
Yeah.
Whoa! Wow.
Yeah, either 9th or 10th. I can't count, but he's at 1,000 yards each year. Very consistent. He's got 4 Pro Bowls and some All Pros in there. He's somebody who's going to be definitely all-time leading receiver for them by far. Got a Super Bowl now. Going to be part of some very successful teams. So I think that's a conversation.
That is so good, bro. And you want to know what people like probably shaking their head like, what the hell is he talking about? Here's what you're talking about. He got in the league in 2014. He has had 1,000 yards every year, like you said. Last year, 14 touchdowns. The year before that, 13. Yeah, Tom Brady was there, granted, but he still got 8. He had 12. You know, Jameis Winston a couple of times. So that's a hell of a call, man. When you talk about production, that's interesting. It really is. LA, he makes a pretty good case right there.
Nah, he does. I mean, the guy has the longevity. He has the numbers to back it up. I mean, I'm not mad at that selection at all.
Wow, very cool. I like that. That is out the box.
Yeah, that was out of left field, though, man.
That is out the box, but a good out the box and an observant one as well. I mean, you have 1,000 yards every single year. That's really freaking him. That's impressive. All right, that's a good job right there, D. I like it. All right, 2 more to go. All right, this is the one that everybody freaked out over because you have the Houston Oilers and the Tennessee Titans. So they put for the Titans organization as a whole, Warren Moon. So all I heard was, Warren Moon never played for the Titans. He played for the Oilers. You know, all this, garbage back and forth. Whatever.
It's the same organization, though. Like, people need to
yes, it is the same organization. Look, if you want to split it, Houston Oilers and Titans, I'm fine with that. Going Warren Moon and probably Steve McNair, D. Like if we're going, modern Titans, or am I missing somebody? Derrick Henry, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
If Derrick Henry continues to be productive, he has a couple more of these just monster years. It doesn't have to go for 2,000 yards, but another one, like another 1,500 yard season, a couple more of those, I could see him taking that spot over McNair just because of his production. But McNair was a monster, though. McNair having that co-MVP along with Peyton Manning that year, leading his team to a Super Bowl. I definitely think he deserves the Titans one. And Warren Moon, amazing quarterback. When you talk about the organization as a whole, I would go Warren Moon. But if you're going to split it, I would go Moon, McNair.
Yeah, I dig that. And Cortland over here, he's a Titan fan apparently, right? I think he is. So he's saying that their GOAT is McNair. And I'll give you Eddie George or even Derek Mason. Wow. Sometimes I think about the Titans. Sometimes I think about Frank Wycheck throwing it back to Kevin Dyson, going up the left sideline, beating the Buffalo Bills in the Miracle, Music City Miracle. That's probably the most unbelievable play I've ever seen in any sport in my entire life. There is nobody on the planet that could have even conceived of that play happening. It was done so perfectly, and the blocking was the best play I've ever seen. I think that was 99. I think that was also 99.
Yeah.
Best play I've ever seen in my entire life. Just unreal. So, I'm cool, LA. I'm with D. I'm cool splitting it up, giving Warren Moon the Oilers and giving McNair the Titans. But I think Derrick Henry may take that over if he has another few seasons like that.
I don't even know if Derrick Henry can take it over, to be honest with you. The way that Tennessee reveres Steve McNair and stuff like that, I don't. They're gonna need somebody to really just come through and just blow the roof off or something like that. Even though Derrick Henry is having an amazing career, however, I don't know how much longer he can sustain that because they are running him into the ground basically.
Yep.
So
like they did Eddie George.
Well, they did it to a lot of running backs. I mean, I was just talking last night about Cadillac Williams and how they did him.
Wow.
But yeah. I don't think nobody's bumping McNair from that spot for a while, unless that boy comes in. What's his name? Malik something.
Yeah, Malik Willis.
Yeah, unless he comes in. You know what I'm saying? If he comes in and starts tearing it up or something like that, I could see another quarterback doing it. But I can't see them knocking McNair off of that.
Yeah, we know it ain't going to be Ryan Tannehill. That's for shit sure. Orler was in the stadium for that game. Wow, that's amazing. I would have. Oh God. And Earl Campbell's another great call. Actually, that is a great call. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I don't even know why I didn't think of that. That's an excellent call. Finishing it out with the Washington Commanders, whatever the fuck they are. They got Darrell Green, who's one of the best cornerbacks of all time, and like a freaking missile, that guy, like a dart. He was so fast. I mean, I could think of maybe John Riggins, who helped them win a Super Bowl. Art Monk, one of their all-time wide receivers. Yeah, Cortland's going Riggo also. John Riggins may be a more popular, memorable answer, D. I may have to go Riggins over Darrell Green, even though Darrell Green, he may have been 5'6", but he was still pretty incredible.
Yeah, I have to go Green just because of, again, the longevity. Well, he played for 20 years? He played for such a long time.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, he played for such a long time and was good. It wasn't like he just was hanging on. He was good for the majority of his career there, one of the top corners in the league. So I would go Green just because of that.
And I get it. I like London Fletcher was definitely an excellent player, not somebody that comes to mind right away, but I like that. LA, yeah, this is the last one. Would you stick with Darrell Green, or would you go, one of their other legendary players? Because it's nobody modern unless Chase Young becomes what we all think he's going to become.
No, I mean for the Commodores, I'm gonna definitely stick with. I call them the Commodores. But I'm definitely gonna stick with that pick. But man, I wish Taylor would have lived longer. You know what I'm saying? He was on his way.
You're right. He was amazing. Oh my gosh, that's something you did not want to go over the middle when he was playing. I'll tell you that right now. He was going to light you up. Really. I'm glad we did that, man. That was actually, I like that. That was fun. I'm glad we went through some of that stuff. That was cool. I love it. All right, let's get into some more stuff over here. Let's do some more football action. But before we get into Mount Player, which is going to be awesome, players of comeback seasons, so they're going to have big comeback years. We're going to spend a couple of minutes over here. It's old news, but it's an interesting category to get into. And LA, you brought this up with, Calvin really being suspended the whole year for gambling on sports and makes everybody think obviously Pete Rose and he's banned from baseball. Is he ever going to get back in? Yada, yada. So in a bucket, if you just put it all together, I'll just give you my quick stance. D, give your, and, LA, I know that, you got a lot to say about this, so I'm looking forward to hearing what you got to say. But real quick, you cannot bet on your own sport. You just can't. And the reason why, number one reason, is because you're a player in the league or a coach, whatever, and you have inside knowledge about certain things, especially your own team. I don't care if you bet on your own team to win. There's still something to that, especially if he's playing, which he wasn't. He was not playing. But, if you are playing, that's a whole nother level. There is cause and effect there, or whatever you want to call it, guys, in my eyes, because, again, you're a player in the league, you have knowledge, you know your team well, you know other teams, you could be talking to other players, and it's not like having inside knowledge if you're a gambler. That's a whole different story. That's different. That's shady, weird shit, all right? This is a player gambling openly on the sport that he plays in, and whether or not it was his team or not, it's, number one, against the rules, so you just don't do it, all right, because they have it written there. You cannot gamble on sports. You cannot bet on any of this activity. So I agree with it, mainly because you have that inside knowledge. You're in the league and you know more, and there could be a reason why you're betting and different things like that, D. So add whatever you want. I don't even know what your position is. And then, LA, I want to go to you because you brought it up, and I'd like to hear what you got to say. So, D, what is your position on that whole thing, whether it's Pete Rose, Calvin Ridley, or just in general? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree that and you're participating in a sport, you shouldn't be betting on that sport, right? With Calvin Ridley, it's a little weird because he wasn't there, but he still, like you said, could have some inside knowledge on it. I don't know if I would have did a year because he wasn't there, right? And he was away from the team, and it wasn't his. From what if I remember the reports correctly, he wasn't betting on Atlanta.
I don't think so. I don't think he was. Ellie, did you read it recently? I don't think he was betting on Atlanta, right?
Nah, he wasn't.
Okay, go ahead, Ding. He wasn't.
So for him not to bet on Atlanta, a team where he would have some information to bet on the other teams, it was a dumb decision, and he definitely deserved to be punished. I don't know if I would have went a full year with it, but I understand why, because NFL is saying we have to set a precedent. This isn't acceptable. You can't bet on the sport. We're going to go ahead and lay the hammer down now and scare future players from doing this. So I definitely understand why it was a full-length year suspension.
And I totally agree. I think that the suspension was way too long. They're definitely making a statement. So you nailed it right there. This is an absolute no-no. This is like one of the biggest no-nos they got, LA. But again, he broke the rules. He knowingly broke them. He knew he cannot gamble, but somehow he did it anyway. So whether or not it's right or wrong, it's in the rules, and he got suspended a year for it. I think it's a long suspension. I agree with D. But overall, your opinion on this thing, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, real quick before I start, shout out to Damien and his Rocket Power shirt. That's flames, man. I love it.
Appreciate it.
He's always got the best t-shirts, man.
But anywho, man, getting back to it, like, it's not even about the fact that he didn't bet on his team. It's the fact that let's be real, and we know that players know other players. It's not like he just only associates with only Atlanta players. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these players are friends and stuff. So, like, he could have inside knowledge to everything that's going on, you know what I'm saying, in the league or whatever like that, and betting on it. Also, too, what made me, which I don't know if you guys, like, looked at everything, but the thing that made me cringe is, and one of the biggest problems that I think we're facing in America nowadays, especially when we're debating or talking about any type of subject, is that whenever somebody posts something about one person doing something wrong, instead of addressing that actual problem with the solution, people want to bring up another problem instead. And I'm like, you cannot talk about a problem by addressing it with another problem. So in this situation, right, is somebody was posting about Deshaun Watson and stuff and how he might get 46 games. That's what I keep hearing. And somebody was like, well, Calvin Ridley got a year. Dude, what the heck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. I'm with you. Yes, I'm with you.
Like, the two aren't even the same thing. And then also, again, if you don't like the fact that Deshaun Watson get 46 games, just say that. But do not sit up there and try to bring up something else that is completely irrelevant to the argument. And that's why I think that there's so many arguments going on in the world today. So many arguments going on in sports debating or whatever it is. You know, it could be anything in life. Stop addressing the problem with the problem and just address the problem with the solution, people.
I love it, man. Yo, that's real, and that's that's deep at the same time, man. I'm not trying to get all philosophical, but that's the truth. Don't address a problem with another problem. That's great. That is excellent. And you know what? You're absolutely right, LA. That happens all the time. Oh well, you did, but well, look at that. No, let's stop pointing fingers. Address the issue at hand. No doubt. I totally agree with you. So yeah, we're all in agreement over here. You just can't do that. Maybe it's again, a year is harsh, but no, you can't do that. And again, it's in the rules. Bottom line, it's in the freaking rules. You just can't do it. That's all there is to it. So don't do it.
And to piggyback off of LA's point, you can't really compare anything to the Deshaun Watson situation. There's no apples to apples situation with Deshaun Watson. Like, it's a totally different situation. We haven't really seen anything like this.
Oh, it's unprecedented.
That I can remember in any of the leagues. So it's nothing that you can compare it to and say, oh, he should be suspended this long because this person got this or that person got that. They have to look at this situation in a vacuum by itself and determine what they're going to do. Now, like LA said, if you have an issue with him playing this year because of what he's accused of, I get it, right? Because the accusations were nasty, and I can totally get why you'd be upset with him being able to play this year. But for me, I would say that he does have the right to play because he's not going to jail. If no matter what you think about what he did, he's not going to jail. There wasn't enough evidence to indict him. So he has the right to do what he does for a living. He just happens to have a job that millions of people pay attention to. So that's why it's going to be so much more light on it. So for me, a lot of people on my podcast, I talked about it, and I said that if I was the NFL, I would go 4 to 6 games. I think I would go 4 because he already missed all of last year. I understand he got paid, but he already missed all of last season because of this. So right. If I was the NFLPA, I would argue this is really a 21-game suspension, not a 4-game suspension, because he missed all of last season.
He didn't miss last season because of this, though. Remember, he sat out, and remember they were doing like him playing him safety and stuff like that in training camp, bull stuff like that, and basically he had said that he would not play for them unless they produced a trade. He didn't want to be there anymore. Then all the stuff started leaking out. Then all the stuff started leaking out after that.
Well, see, that's the thing, LA. So, now, that's what we wonder. Like, did that happen because of that? Like, was that like he was trying to get out of Dodge or something, and he knew that all this shit was coming down? And Houston's like, well, we're not going to play somebody with D. Am I on track over here or what?
Yeah. So, like, my point to that is LA's correct, right? It all started because he wanted that trade first, and Houston didn't want to play him because of that. But
right, that's what we heard.
It escalated, and he didn't get traded because of it. If it was only 2 accusations, he would have got traded and been playing with somebody. But because it was 22 at the time, that's why he never got traded. Even Miami was interested, but because of it, he didn't get traded there. If it was less accusations, he would have got traded and been playing for somebody. So that's what my argument would be if I was NFLPA, that it cost him a whole season essentially because of the accusations.
And to go back to your question, Jason, I really honestly think that, especially with more and more information that we're learning, especially with the fact that the lawyer now included the Texans in the lawsuit, I think what we're starting to learn is that the Texans knew about it and in some possible cases, facilitated for him, having the girl sign the non-disclosure agreements and stuff like that, right?
Right.
But then when the Texans knew that he didn't want to play for them anymore, I think that they were like, okay, well, why are we still protecting this guy if he doesn't want to be here anymore? So now we'll just let it go. I think they were keeping it close knit because they were like, yo, he's our quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But as soon as he said he didn't want to be there no more, they were like, well, it ain't no point of us keeping this secret no more. Do what you want to do with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It does. That really does make a lot of sense. Yeah, these Deshaun Watson conversations, debates, whatever you want to call it, they're not going to stop. They're going to be going on for a while, and it's because we don't have a verdict as far as a finality. There's no closure to it yet, and I don't know how far away we are from that. I don't know if the judge is going to do what. But again, we'll see.
I don't think we're ever going to have true closure to it, right? Because of the nature of the accusations, we're never going to have a true this is definitive. What happened? He did this, this, and this. We're never going to get that. And because of that, the NFL is between a rock and a hard place. No matter what they do, they're going to get criticized from either side. So I think for their just sanity, they should go ahead and hand down a suspension and just deal with it. You're going to have to deal with the circumstances anyway. You may as well go ahead and get it over with.
That's another great point. They're going to get hammered either way you look at it. If they do 4 games, well, you only gave him 4 games. He did this. Look at Calvin Ridley. He got a year. There you go. There's the finger back and forth. See, that's just how it works. It's amazing. Wow. Unreal. Okay. Such bright minds in this show. I love it over here. I love it. This is what we do, baby. All right. Let's spice it up a little bit. Let's do some Mount Player Play, D. All right. What do we got, baby? Take the lead.
So Mount Player Play is brought to you by Beer Drop. All right. So when you go to a stadium or you go to a restaurant, you're usually spending $10 to $15 sometimes, depending on what stadium you're at, to drink a beer and enjoy the game. But why not have the beers come to you at only $5 per beer at a nice shipping cost? If you go to 33podcast.com, scroll down a little bit, go to our Beer Drop link. You can have beers from all across the country delivered to you each and every month at $5 per beer. But you only get that price if you go to 33podcast.com and use our special link. So go to 33podcast.com, use the Beer Drop link, and get beers delivered to you, all different types of beers. IPAs, wheat beers, sweet, sour, whatever beer you want from all over the country, have it delivered to you at your house, and you can enjoy the game at home in a nice air-conditioned environment. Like people got mad at me for saying that about the stadiums last week, but you can have it in your nice air-conditioned environment at your house for $5 per beer by going to 33podcast.com. So today for Mount Player, we're going over our top 4 candidates for Comeback Player of the Year. This is very interesting. Really like this idea, Jay. So let's start with you. Who is your number 4 candidate for Comeback Player of the Year?
All right, cool. This one's going to probably floor you guys a little bit, and LA's going to get real pissed off at me. Mitchell Trubisky. I think that he's going to have a year. He's not going to wow everybody. I'm not saying that like he's going to light up 35 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he's got a really, really good team around him. We have questions about the offensive line. We'll see how they shape out this season. They have a really good team. And when he was on a really good team in Chicago with less offensive weapons, they went to the playoffs for a couple of seasons. So I'm thinking Mitchell Trubisky, believe it or not, actually has a really good chance to get into this running based off the success that the Steelers can potentially have. And we know that Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. So, D, I know it may be a weird one out of the box, but I see the possibility.
Okay. No, I'm not mad at that selection because if he does have a good year, it's a great Phil story. Writers will want to vote for him because he came from being a guy who was ostracized in Chicago for not living up to expectations of being a guy who was picked above Patrick Mahomes, above Deshaun Watson. So if Trubisky come back and have a good year, I could definitely see him getting votes for that for sure. So that's a good sneaky pick right there.
All right.
Who you got for your number 4 candidate?
Well, first of all, F Mitchell Trubisky. No, I had him on my list too. I ain't gonna lie.
Really? I love it.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna go with Khalil Mack.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think he definitely had that foot injury last year. And then going to the Chargers, that's gonna be nasty. They have a nasty little defense over there. So I think with all the different supporting cast members that he has, is not gonna be, the teams that we've seen him be on, he's been relied upon so much. You know what I mean? But now I think in this situation, like he has so many supporting cast members that he'll be able to just kind of just be loose and be free.
Okay. No, I definitely like that pick right there. I can see him having a major year for the Chargers. You can't really double team them because of that D-line that they have. So I definitely can see him have a major year, especially in a run. That's where the Chargers, we talked about it so much on our show, Dave. That's where the Chargers need that help, and he's a great run stopper. So I could definitely see him having a big year. For my number 4, I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson had a lot of injuries last year. He wasn't able to really play up to his potential. I know LA doesn't like hearing that in this division, but I can see Lamar Jackson coming back and having a huge year this year, balling out for them, especially if their rookie receiver shows up and is able to be productive right away. I can see Lamar Jackson coming back and showing us why he was an MVP a couple years ago for sure.
I like it. Corlin, I'm not putting up your quote now for a reason, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, but I like where you're at there. I like where you're at.
All right. So who do you have for number 3, Jay?
Number 3, I got somebody who better stay healthy for this team, regardless of who the quarterback is, because Christian McCaffrey is the Panthers. I expect him to stay healthy this year. If he doesn't, his career is over. So if the man stays healthy, You know what he's going to do? He's going to give you 2,000 yards from the line of scrimmage, whether it's Baker, Sam Darnold. It doesn't freaking matter because he's never had a really good quarterback, and he can still get the job done, and he'll make people better around him. So I think Christian McCaffrey is absolutely a candidate.
Nah, that's a great one. He's on my list as well, and I'm guessing he's on LA's list as well.
Maybe.
Yeah, he definitely is. So let me shift and go here. I'm gonna bring up J.K. Dobbins.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, like all right. So okay, but man, just unfortunate to see. Well, I don't wish players injury.
Oh boy, oh yeah. Look at him grinning over there. I don't wish anybody the evil laugh behind him.
No, I want to say it the right way because, like, personally, with their whole running back squad going down, it really didn't help us when it came to the whole overall part of the season. But I was like, hey, but no, JK is good, and I think when he comes back, that offense fits perfectly with him. So you know what I'm saying, to see him bounce back, will be as long as it's not against the Browns, I'm cool. Like, I really think he can bounce back and have a really, really good season, especially with that offense.
D, we got two Ravens in there already mentioned, right? Two Ravens already. And we think about them as a team. Obviously, if they're healthy, they can win the North, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, they suffered so many injuries last year. They can win comeback team of the year because their whole team was out last season. Like they definitely went through it last year. So I look forward to the Ravens being healthy this year for sure. So you already knew I was going to have this dude on my list, so I might as well go ahead and get him out the way. Can't guard Michael Thomas.
Oh, knew this coming.
Have an amazing season for the New Orleans Saints. I had to get my homer pick in there. He will have a great year this year. People are forgetting how good Michael Thomas truly is when healthy. I can't wait to see it. Michael Thomas, I'm going 120 catches, maybe 1,300 yards. I can see about 10 touchdowns. He's going to have a monster year this year. Comeback player of the year candidate for sure, Michael Thomas.
Ooh, boy, I love it, man. I love it. We're going to talk top 20 wide receivers in a little bit, and his name is on there. No doubt about it. No doubt. Love it.
All right, so who you have at number 2, Jay?
Yeah, y'all already messed me up, so I can't even go on no more. First of all, I like that one. Chris Godwin, yeah, he'll come back and he's going to be something else. Yeah, I kind of wish I put him in there, but for real, my number 1 was J.K. Dobbins, and number 2 is Michael Thomas. You guys already said him, so not much more for me to add on. I love it. I totally agree, and great minds think alike. That's what happens on this show, and we just proved it right there. J.K. Dobbins, if he's healthy this year, is going to be a top 5 running back in the league with the way they run their offense. And Michael Thomas is going to be Jameis Winston's best friend. There's no doubt about it, and it's going to be a beautiful thing, is what I think over there, because he's going to have help from Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry and Alvin Kamara. So there's no reason why Michael Thomas can't have a huge season. And Jameis Winston is more than capable of getting this man 1,000 yards plus, 10, 12 touchdowns. 10 to 12 touchdowns. Big things, man. So those are my 1 and 2. You can skip right over me because you guys already nailed it on the head, man.
All right. So who do you have next, LA?
Actually, I'm gonna stay on your team, man. I got Jameis Winston on my list.
Oh, how about that? Oh, D must love this, right? He's having a good time.
Yeah, LA's a smart man.
No, but I think that Winston can have a phenomenal year. You guys already listed all the weapons that he has to throw to. Let's be honest, the biggest problem with Winston was his decision making, right? It wasn't that he couldn't produce or put up big numbers. So,
right.
As long as he gets that down, and then how long ago was it that he had got LASIK? And that was like one of the weirdest stories that I had ever heard.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years now, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I was like, dog, you what? You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think he can bounce back. He has some great weapons. There's things all around him for him to succeed. So I really expect him to have a big year.
Okay. Now I definitely can see that as well. He's probably going to be my quantum leap prediction this year.
Second in a row. He was off to the right start for you, though, D. I will admit that.
Yeah, he was off to a good start for me last year. I'm gonna throw one more name in there. I don't know if LA is going to appreciate this. Baker Mayfield. Baker
Wow.
Mayfield could definitely win that award if he has a good year in Carolina. I don't think Carolina's going to be good, but if Baker Mayfield goes out there and has a year like maybe he had a couple years ago, and he's able to lead this team to say they go 8-9, this year, and they're just competitive. I can see Baker Mayfield being in the running for the award for sure.
That'd be saying a lot, man. Wow. Oh God, LA. Love-hate relationship right there with that one. Man, the only other guy I did have in there, and I didn't know if you would consider this comeback player, but I think it is considered because he was hurt for a significant amount of time. Derrick Henry.
Yeah. I've seen him on a lot of lists.
Yeah, I think he should be there too. He was one of my. Was he out long enough? Yada yada, this and that. But I think he's the odds-on favorite if I checked it right, and maybe even I don't know. I don't want to ruin anybody's list, so I'm not going to say anything else. But we'll finish it out. There might be a couple more names out there. But go ahead, D.
Well, the next one I'm throwing, he's not going to win it because of optics, right? But he's probably he's qualified because he didn't play last year. He's going to have a great year depending on how many games he does play. Deshaun Watson, like he's not going to win it because of the optics. Like they're not going to vote for him. He could have, if he plays, let's say he plays 13 games and throws like 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, he's still not going to win it.
No,
but there's going to be articles out saying Deshaun Watson should be comeback player of the year, but they're not going to vote for him.
They surely won't.
Yeah. I'll tell you, he right now is listed. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th, and I think that's right to your point because he's probably one, if not him or Derrick Henry, he's the best player with comeback odds. Like if you again just talking about a quarterback, obviously, but with all you said right there, they're not going to vote for him. He may be suspended, all this and that. Yeah, I'll give you guys the order real quick of the covers, and this is according to
the Vegas one.
This is covers.com.
Yes, I think I see that one.
Is that the one? All right, so they got Derrick Henry, Jameis Winston second, Michael Thomas third. How about that? McCaffrey's fourth, Daniel Jones fifth. I'm not even sure how that really works out. Did Daniel Jones play every game last year?
I think he got. Hold on, let me.
No, he just heard. No, he got.
Yeah, I think he got injured.
He did. Right, because what's his name came in? Oh my God, that terrible quarterback backup. I wish Nicky would obviously know right now. But Daniel Jones, Mike Glennon, was it Mike Glennon? Who backed him up? Oh my God, I don't know. That's how bad it was. But J.K. Dobbins is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's right ahead of Deshaun Watson. They close it out with Cam Akers, Marcus Mariota, Baker Mayfield, Travis Etienne, who didn't even play. So that's weird. Robert Woods, Jimmy Smith-Schuster, and then Khalil Mack.
Yeah, the one with
Oh, hold on, D. Just cut out for 1 second. Hang on, D. We've got to get you popping back in. Those are the odds. Yeah, so I'm right up there at the top. Thomas and Jameis Winston, 2 and 3, and Derrick Henry leads the way. McCaffrey, Daniel Jones. All right. Hold on, let me get D back in here, LA. Daniel Jones was, I wish I could remember the damn backup. I think it was Mike Glennon. Somebody help me out over here and figure this out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Mike Glennon.
All right.
Daniel Jones.
It was. Okay.
Yeah. But what I was going to say before my poor internet cut me out, I was going to say that they need to have a most improved player for the NFL and not just comeback player of the year, because sometimes they don't qualify. Like you said with the running back from Jacksonville, what is he coming back from? He's just got so for him, it's like, but it also would be hard to say most improved because he didn't play last year. But I think they should have a most improved player as well, along with the comeback player of the year.
Yeah, just like they should separate the MVP quarterback with everything else. Exactly. Yep, we're all about it. All about it, no doubt. Do we got any other names, D, or we finish our list here right there?
No, that was the end of my list.
All right. I like it. All our names are on there. And again, looking at the Vegas odds, I can't believe Jameis Winston, they do have second, and Michael Thomas third. That's really interesting. All right. Nikki ain't here, but I'm going to do my best to fill in for us. So let's go. I think I don't have to chair dance this time because I'm actually hosting. But you know what I'm going to do anyway? Roll my head around it.
I can't even hear your music.
Yeah, I can't either.
Oh, you guys can't hear it. Why can't you hear the music? Damn it. All right. Well, hopefully everybody else heard it for at least a second. All right, let's turn her down over here. Let's
Looks
get
so
more
crazy.
going.
You just dancing to yourself with the headphones on, though.
Oh, man. All right. Put the music that only I can hear. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Gone. All right. Knowledge with Nikki. Nikki is not here, obviously, so I'm going to take over, and it's not going to be these insane questions that she throws out and drives us crazy every week. And every time we put it out the next day of the podcast, I would have failed Knowledge with Nikki. Well, we understand. We know. But, D, we've actually been doing pretty good lately with the movie quotes last time, and I forget what the one was before that, but we've actually been doing pretty good. Because I consider that thing like a team effort now. It's not even like me versus you anymore. It's like a team effort.
Yeah, it's us against Nikki for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man, Nikki. But she would be telling you about Reebok right now. All right, Reebok, the deal of the week. Actually, my friends, it's so funny. At work today, my friends were checking out, like, oh, what, this beer drop and this Meatworks and then Reebok, like, what are these sneakers? I'm like, actually, they're Cardi B sneakers. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, Cardi B's got these freestyle air, I don't even know what the hell they are, but look at them on 3and3podcast.com. So her new sneaker drop, freestyle high Cardi kicks, designed by Cardi with sizes in men's, women's, kids, and infants, believe it or not. So, yeah, if you have like a little 1-inch shoe or something like that, give it to your infant, have a little fun, get that thing going. Again, 3and3podcast.com. All you got to do is go there, click on the link, and we'll set you up. All right, we're doing NFL trivia, guys. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to flip my fake coin over here. All right, LA, you're first. You ready? Here we go. All right. First question. What team scored the most points in a single game in NFL history? What team scored the most points in a single game? I don't need a year, nothing like that. Just the team.
Let's say St. Louis.
St. Louis is not right. D, you want to steal it?
That's a good guess, though. Those Kurt Warner Rams, I guess, having that record. Yeah. I'm going to go Denver Broncos. Did Peyton Manning do it when he's with them?
Nope, but I like those guesses right there. They're not bad. But I got to tell you that the correct answer is Washington, at that time, Redskins. It was a long time ago, but Washington is the team who did it. I'm not going to tell you how many points yet because I'm about to ask you that. Number 2, how many points did they score? Closest answer wins. Let's see what we got. LA, you're first.
Let's go 55.
55. What do you say, D?
I'm going to go 77.
You are closer. 72 points. Hell of a lot of points. Yeah. 72 points. I believe that was actually against Nikki's Giants. But it was a long-ass time ago. It was 1966. 72-41. They beat the Giants in this game. So, wow.
Holy crap. Wow.
Yeah. Nuts. Pretty nuts. That's NFL history.
The defense didn't deserve their paychecks after that game.
No. All right, Pete. You were close on that one. Just 5 points away. Not bad. All right, LA. How many sacks did Aaron Donald have last year?
I want to say 12.
12. All right, D. What do you say?
I'm gonna go 16.
12.5. LA. Nice.
Oh.
Good job, brother. Good job. All right, LA. This is your 4th and final question. How many receptions did Jerry Rice retire with?
Oh.
I don't expect you, obviously, to get it on, nail it on the head, but closest wins. Jerry Rice, all-time receptions. The leader, obviously.
I'm going to go with 12,000.
How many?
12,000.
12,000? Okay, 12,000. D, what do you got?
I'm going to go with, I'm going to say 1,700.
1,700? 17,000 you mean, or 1,700?
No, you said 1,700. Nope.
Well, if that's the case, then LA is right. Close with that. Jerry Rice all-time receiving yards is 22,895.
Dang.
That's something else.
I'm
sorry, receptions. 1,000. Sorry about that. Okay, D, one more time. What was your answer for receptions? I'm so sorry. I had two questions up there. Receptions. Okay. D.
Yes.
Go one more time. All over again.
You won 1,700 for receptions.
Okay, D says 1,700, and LA, you said how much?
I don't even know.
You said like 1,200. 1,200, right? The answer is 1,549. So D, I got to give it to you, man. Not even that far off. That's pretty good. All right, we got more. D, you're up, but LA, you could steal. What year did the NFL officially start?
Was it 1921?
I can't even ask LA. 1920, you got it. That is nice, bro. That's a nice job right there. Wow, that's good.
I knew the 100-year anniversary just passed, so I knew.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it's all about. I'm like, who's going to remember that they just had the 100-year anniversary? That's a nice job, D. I like it. All right. Next question. What team did the Ravens trade with to get Lamar Jackson?
Oh, that's a good one. Who had?
I know. That's why I asked.
Second pick that year. Oh, that is a good one. I'm gonna say. Dang, I'm trying to remember now because they did have to trade back into the first round to get him.
Mm-hmm. Ozzie Newsome making the deal.
Ooh. I'm trying to think who won the Super Bowl the previous year. They had it.
Very good, Grasshopper. It's good thinking.
Was it the Patriots?
It's not the Patriots. You're close, LA. It's a good guess. I don't know who you're looking at. LA's searching. He's looking.
I'm looking at God.
Yep. He's praying. Good answer.
Was it the man? I'm gonna feel stupid for saying it. No, it couldn't have been them because they were.
I like this. Got you thinking.
Oh man.
If it's the other team, I'm thinking I'm gonna be upset.
You're gonna be upset. I'm gonna let you say it if he's wrong too.
Man.
Alex Trebek got to ding you, boy.
Yeah, I gotta get dinged, but I was trying to think about who they lost to.
He's like, yeah, but
I don't even want to say it. It's all dumb or nothing. Like,
it doesn't sound dumb. It's not like it's a common knowledge. Not like everybody knows it.
That's a tough question.
No, it is a tough question. I don't know. I'll say your 49ers just for giggles.
I wish it was. D, I think you know the answer. Go ahead.
Was it the Eagles?
Yes, man. It was the Eagles, bro. It was the Eagles.
After I said the Patriots, I thought about it. I was like,
yep.
The Eagles. Those are the Eagles.
That was the year they beat the Patriots. That's the way you think about it. Who won the Super Bowl? They get 37.
That's what I was thinking too. But I was like, who was it?
Yeah. and the reason why they did that is because they had Carson Wentz. They're like, I don't give a shit. Go ahead and take Lamar Jackson. Big mistake. That was stupid. Obviously. All right, we got two more questions. It is right now 3-1 D. LA, you're gonna have to hope that he misses and you can steal. How many wins did Alex Smith have as a starter?
Wow.
I love random questions.
Yeah, no, that's tough.
How many wins?
And the thing is, as much as we think about Alex Smith as being like the quote-unquote average quarterback, he did win a lot.
Sure did. It's on some pretty damn good teams.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 135.
135. LA, you got a guess?
I'm going to go 140.
I can't give either one of you points. You guys gave him a little too much credit. 100 wins exactly. His actual record is 173-1.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't he's not a bum like people think he is. Like
No. Even though I wish, again, that was my number one what if in the world. If the 49ers drafted Aaron Rodgers, how many more Super Bowls we'd have right now? But it didn't work out that way. We took Alex Smith instead. All right, last one. Here we go. How many touchdowns did Phillip Rivers have in his career?
Phillip Rivers.
How many touchdowns did Phillip Rivers throw in his career?
I'm going to go with 245.
245. D says 245. LA, what do you say?
I'm gonna go 270.
270. And you guys gave Alex Smith too much credit and Phillip Rivers not enough. 424 touchdown passes for Phillip Rivers. Wow. Not bad, right? That's a lot.
Yeah, that's
no,
crazy.
I knew he was lighting it up, but dang.
Yep, there you go. That was the final question. A little NFL action way back in the history. Some of these things, not easy answers, but guys, well done. And I got to host an Aldrin Nicky and not be on the losing end of it all for a change. So nice to switch it up. There we go. All right. So we got a couple of categories left for you guys before we dip out of here tonight. We got some more fun going on. So let's have it. We got to cue up a little more music because we love background music on the show, or at least I do. So here we go. All right. I ranked my wide receivers. I went on our website, 3rd-and-3podcast.com. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. Wide receiver rankings, and I actually saw another list come out today with the receivers that they expect the most from, and one guy's name was way down the list, and I want to get your thoughts about it because of the situation he's in. But here we go. You can find it on 3rd-and-3podcast.com. Let's just go over the top 5 real quick and see if you guys agree with me or what you'd switch around. Here we go. I got Devontae Adams, number 1. I got DeAndre Hopkins, number 2. Regardless of his suspension, how good he is, I have him number 2. I got Tyreek Hill at 3. I got Stephon Diggs at 4. And then I got a little caught up over here, but I don't think it's any fluke at all. I think Cooper Kupp is the real deal. So I put him at number 5. So I got Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, and Cooper Kupp at 5. D, do you like that? What would you switch? Give me your thoughts.
I don't have a big issue with it. I can see your reasoning behind that list, that order. But I would put Cooper Kupp at 2 just because of the season he had last year. You think about leading the league in yards, receptions. Like, he definitely was killing it last year, triple crown for a receiver. So I'll put him at 2. I'll still have Devontae Adams at 1. At 3, I would have Stephon Diggs. I'm a huge fan of Diggs when it comes to his route running and what he can do with the full tree. And then I would go with Tyreek Hill next. And then I would have Hopkins at 5. And some people think that's crazy having Hopkins that low. But when you look at those other 4 receivers, I don't know how you can bump them out of the top 4. And you also, there's another one that you can put in that top 5. It's hard to put him there, but Justin Jefferson is another one that has a big argument to be in the top 5 as well.
I like that too, man. I like that. And I'm going to tell you where I have Jefferson ranked. And now I think I may have him ranked a little bit too low. But all right, so we have the same players in there in our top 5, but not exactly the same order. LA, what do you think of that order? What do you think of D's order? What do you like?
I'm more leaning towards D's list, just because I like Cooper Kupp a lot higher than where you had him at.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think we're about to really learn about Tyreek Hill this season. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would drop him a little bit lower. Not saying he's not talented, but I think we're about to learn about him.
You dropping him lower because of Tua, as opposed to Patrick Mahomes? Is that the reason?
Yeah, I think we're about to really learn if he's just that guy, or if it was because he was in the right system with the right quarterback. So we're about to figure that out. Another just looking at your outside of the top 5, one guy that I think is going to, I think one guy that's going to really skyrocket though is Jamar Chase.
Sure.
Yeah, I think he's gonna skyrocket. And he might have an argument for being a top 5 current receiver. Coming up. Even though he doesn't do good against my Browns, but I mean, All
right. So Ellen, let me ask you. I mean, so let's say, all right, you think Jamar Chase top 5? Who are you taking out? Adams, Hopkins, Hill, Diggs, up?
I think after this season, Hill's gonna be out.
Really? Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Yep.
So, okay, all right. I mean, look, obviously, this isn't a Patrick Mahomes, and this is a separate debate, and I like it. I would want to get into it, but we'll definitely do it another time. But I can't. Look, he's going to get a lot of bubble screens. We know that. He's going to get some, quick hitches. He's not going to get a lot of bombs down the field. So I understand what you're saying, but he's still an unbelievable wideout. And those bubble screens he's going to take to the house. And I think that I'm on the other side. I think that Tua is going to impress people this year with these weapons. They got so many weapons. You're not going to be able to single up Tyreek Hill because you got to worry about Waddle, Gesicki, and now Cedric Wilson over there. Man, I can't wait to talk more about the AFC East, which we're going to do in a couple of weeks, Steve. But I see big things for them. And Tyreek Hill, I get what he's saying. Obviously, it ain't Patrick Mahomes, but still, Tyreek Hill is unbelievable wide receiver. I'm not ready to put Jamar Chase in the top 5 yet. I'm closer, D, on Justin Jefferson than Jamar Chase in the top 5.
I can see that because we've seen Justin Jefferson for 2 years compared to one for Chase. In the production of Jefferson with Kirk Cousins compared to Chase with Joe Burrow. So I definitely can see that. Jefferson, man, his production these first 2 years has been incredible. I think he's definitely going to be somebody. If the Vikings win eventually, that's when we'll start to hear more about how great Justin Jefferson is. But because he's on the Vikings and they just stay around that 500 mark, that's why we don't really hear about him as far as being one of the elite receivers.
You're right, man. You're right. The guy's got over 3,000 yards in his first 2 years. That's not normal. People don't do that. Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, that's really unbelievable. So after that, after Cup, this is where I put Deebo Samuel. I went A.J. Brown. Some people said A.J. Brown's a little bit too high. All right. Justin Jefferson at 8. I should have put him up a little more. I got Chris Godwin at 9, and then Michael Thomas at 10. Is Thomas too low, too high, just right? 3 freaking Bears? I don't know.
I can see him being there because we haven't seen him healthy for quite a while now. So I can get why people wouldn't have him up. But I think by like week 5, week 6, people will be like, oh, this is Michael Thomas. This is the guy that broke the record for receptions in a year. And they're going to be reminded of why this guy is so special. So I can definitely see him getting up on that list. But I have no problem with him at 10 right now. Okay.
All right. Yeah. People do forget. And we haven't seen him in a couple of years. And I totally understand that. It makes all the sense in the world. So I get that point of it. But when he did play, he broke the receptions record. So obviously he's unbelievable. But is Michael Thomas good in your top 10 with Chris Godwin? I know you'd rather have Jamar Chase in there. And look, I have Mike Evans at 12, and D made an unbelievable case for him being like the Bucs' all-time greatest player. So maybe I have him ranked a little bit too low.
Well, I mean, of course, like, when you're making these lists, I mean, it's like what have you done for me lately, right? So you know what kind of person and what kind of player, that Michael Thomas is. It's just that we just got to see it. You know what I mean? And then again, too, you always assume that a player is going to come back healthy. But sometimes they don't come back and look the same.
Right.
Sometimes they re-aggravate something, or maybe something leads into something else. You know what I mean? So, I just want him to come back, look completely healthy, and you know what I'm saying, and hopefully for D, like, he balls out.
Right, no doubt. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, the last we saw of him playing on the field was amazing stuff. So let's see. Hey, he ain't got Drew Brees, but let's see what Winston can do with him. All right. To round it, back out to kind of, close out the list over here. We'll move on to the next thing. Like I said, Jamar Chase at 11. A lot of people have him ranked higher. I got no problems with that. Then Mike Evans. I still put OBJ in there, D, because when he plays, he's great. And we saw what he did with the Rams last year, and it's a shame that he got hurt in the Super Bowl. But OBJ is still amazing. He still probably has, if not the best hands, he's right up there in the top 3 of best hands in the NFL. So he's not even on a team right now, which is unbelievable. But I think whoever gets him is going to be happy with it. Is OBJ crazy for being in the top 20, or do you still think when he's on the field, he's one of those guys who's a total game changer?
Yeah, I definitely think he's still a top 20 receiver. It's just tough to rank him because of the injuries. I think we actually talked about this last time LA was on the show, how he said that Odell's no longer a number 1, but he's an extremely high number 2 because of his talent. I think I view him that same way. Because of the injuries, he's no longer the guy that we saw with the Giants that's going to make these crazy, unbelievable catches and get 1,400 yards a year. But if he's your number 2, you're doing quite well for yourself. And I think that's where you have to put him at.
All right. LA, you agree with that right there? You're on the same page?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that every time we get to a point where we can have an opinion about Odell, he gets injured. Like right away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter what season it is. Like, we'd be like, dang, he's cooking. He's doing great, man. You know, like when he played with the Browns, he was like throwing touchdowns and different things like that. You know what I mean? Then boom, he's injured. And we're like, dang, dog, like we was just getting used to you again. You know what I mean? And then you out, you know.
You just got in the house. You just took your shoes off. You got to go home already.
Right. Right. So, you know, and then like I said, it was unfortunate for, you know, I hated to see him get injured in the Super Bowl. You know, that was crushing, you know what I'm saying? But for him to even be able to be there and playing it and still be able to contribute to the game before he got injured was still good, you know. But again, and the reason why, you know, he's not on the team is because people want to see you know, how fast he bounces back from this one, because, you know, like it was like the same knee or something like that. And his rehab is putting him out until like maybe like October, I want to say it is, or something like that. So I think what he's doing and what teams are doing is he probably has an interest, of course, but they're like, hey, look, don't worry about training camp, don't worry about all this offseason stuff, like just rehab, do what you got to do, and then, you know, we'll sign you to, you know, a year deal, you know, instead of Leighton or something like that, and, you know, you'll be off to the races. So he's probably just waiting to see you know, how the season starts to shake out. Like, okay, this team is doing good. Now I can contribute more to this team.
Let me ask you a question about your team, bro. You think that he'd be willing to go back to Cleveland? No shot, huh?
No, that's over. Once, I mean, I know the rumors were out there, but he actually just put his house up for sale in Cleveland about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
So that's on the market. And then also too, which I knew was gonna happen, is that once we had to move on from Jarvis, there was really nothing that was tying them here, because, you know, remember, they're best friends. So that was the one thing. And Jarvis like sold him on the. I mean, besides us trading for him, Jarvis kind of eased that transition, right? But now that Jarvis isn't here, he doesn't have any loyalties or ties to Ohio. Like, I mean, so I don't see him coming back to us, man, unless we're just like running away with the division or something like that, and we look like clearly the best team in the NFL at the time.
Yeah, D, I kind of get the feeling maybe that LA is just going to, I mean, when I say LA, and I'm talking about the Los Angeles Rams, that is going to take him and be like, you know what, we'll give you money and you take your time, like LA is saying, rehab him and have him come back. So he probably ends up back with the Rams. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely can see that for sure.
Yeah.
Like LA was saying, October, I could see another team that's in contention having a big injury. One of their wide receivers goes down, and Odell's the perfect guy to fill in that spot. So LA's going to be the first team that's probably on the list, but then there'll be other teams there that may need a receiver. I would love to see him go to Baltimore. Maybe go there and
no. But that's what he needs, though, man. That's what Lamar needs.
Jackson, maybe having a good connection there. I can see that, and they are going to be in need of a receiver. I can see them being in need of a receiver come October for sure.
Yeah, they're in need of a receiver right now.
Yeah.
They lost their best and only wide receiver that they had, you know, in the draft to, you know, Marquise Brown. Now he's with the Cardinals, and when your tight end is your best wide receiver, it's usually not a good thing, I guess, unless you're now Travis Kelce with the Chiefs. But yeah, we'll see. All right, just closing it out. I like Keenan Allen. I think he still belongs in the top 20. I think Terry McLaurin is a top 20 guy. I had Allen Robinson in there. I think CD Lamb cracked that top 20 list. You got a problem with any of these guys I said so far, D? You think that he shouldn't be in there? McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, CD Lamb?
Only thing is, I would put Keenan Allen and McLaurin ahead of Beckham.
Okay.
But yeah, outside of that, I don't see any issues here. Maybe Tyler Lockett ahead of Metcalf. Metcalf physically is an absolute monster, but I believe Lockett's a more complete receiver as far as running the route tree, being able to depend on him in certain situations. We know Metcalf can have those just brain fart moments on the field, most famously the one where he fumbled and they got mad at Shannon Sharp for calling it out when Shannon Sharp was absolutely correct for calling him out for having that dumb fumble on the field. So he has those moments, but physically, if Metcalf can put it together, the physicality with maybe the veteran leadership of a Lockett, bringing that into his game, he's going to be absolutely unstoppable, but he doesn't have that quite yet. So I would put Lockett ahead of Metcalf.
I think those are very, very good points right there. I struggled who to put ahead of who, because you're right. DK Metcalf is a monster, and he's got all the potential in the world, but Tyler Lockett is like pristine, you know, with his right. He's fantastic. I don't know what the hell they're going to do this year with their quarterback situation in LA. I don't know if anybody's going to catch a pass. Geno Smith, Drew Lock. I don't. What the hell are they going to do? What a mess they made.
I heard they talking to y'all.
Like, go ahead, take Jimmy, please. Like, honestly, go ahead. You can have him. If you want a miserable moment every other week, you got it. No problem. We will give you that. Take him. And that's how. Look, in division, for somebody to say that, for a guy who's brought you to 2 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl, again, not broad. It's like, use that word in quotes. Take him. Please take him. We're all ready for Trey Lance. You know what? Honestly, it's really going to suck if Trey Lance does not pan out. All that we gave up for him, I will cry. I need this guy to be the next. I need him to work out. Please let this work out. I'm begging. Let Debo stay there, all of it. I just need it. I know we've been there again. It's been 94. Since 1994, I was 14 years old, and they won the Super Bowl. I mean, it's been since then. I've watched them lose to the Ravens, and then, of course, losing to the Kansas City. I need another Super Bowl. You got to remember, I'm also a Mets and a Knicks fan. I have nothing. I need this, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. So that was a little wide.
It's been a little rough for you the past 20 years here, Jay.
It has, bro. It's not been good. It's not been good. My teams get there, like even the Mets losing to the Yankees in the Subway Series. We were there in the World Series 60 years ago. We lost again. The Knicks. 1994 also. Come on, help me. Somebody, please. 99 against the Spurs. We had no shot in that shortened season. It was like a 50-game season. We had no chance. It was a joke. Gentlemen swept the hell out of us. What are you going to do? That's life. That's me. So I need my 49ers to do something really big over here. All right, boys. Let's close it out with LA's division over here. The reason we're doing AFC North is because LA is on the show right now. We're going to preview it. We're going to break it down, and we're going to give you our predictions right now. So who's going to finish in 4th place? D, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I know this sounds like blasphemy.
Uh-oh.
I gotta go Pittsburgh. To finish in 4th in this division. Even with the pending Deshaun Watson situation, I feel like Pittsburgh last year, they just did some type of hocus pocus magic and got to the playoff. I still don't understand how they got there and what they did.
No.
And how they got there.
No.
Like I truly don't get it. But I think this year the magic runs out and they have that defense, for all the names on that defense, like TJ Watt, is not a good defense overall. That hasn't really improved, and you don't have a veteran like Roethlisberger back there to get the ball out quick. You're either going with Trubisky or the rookie Pickett. I just don't see the team having a good year. I think that Najee Harris is going to be the lone bright spot there, but I see them having a rough year. So I'm gonna go 6-11 for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
6-11. Oh, wow. That is blasphemous. My Tomlin is freaking out right now of his ear, and is ringing, buzzing, going crazy. The man who's never had a losing season is going to be 6-11. Wow. I can't get on board with that.
That's great comes to an end. I think his streak of non-losing season comes to an end this year.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. Wow. I can't picture this. I'm sure LA is loving this right now. I cannot picture the Steelers having that bad of a record. I don't have – wow, I'm blown away by that. I can't believe it, D. And you're a smart guy, so I take what you say seriously, man. That's some shit. 6-11. Wow. All right, LA, who do you think – do you agree with him that Pittsburgh's going to be in last, and do you see that kind of a record for the Steelers?
I didn't do records for the division.
All right.
But I did have places and then some different things that I've seen from the team. So I do have the Steelers coming in last.
Both of you.
I'm actually ecstatic about that. Something that I've been wanting to see for a long time.
LA's dream would be for the Browns to finish in first and for all 3 teams to tie with the same exact record in last place. That would be perfect.
Yeah, but no, of course their strengths, man. Their receiving core. I like their receiving core. They got some young bulls there with Claypool and Deontay Johnson. As far as their weaknesses, though, that really, really jump out to me, of course, is, and these two are actually hand in hand, is I know that they signed some people for their offensive line, but I still don't know if their offensive line is going to be that good.
Yeah.
But then also too, you put that with the fact that they don't really have like a stable quarterback anymore. That's a dangerous combination. That's a dangerous formula. So I mean, I'm not praying for either quarterback at all, because I really can care less. But but yeah, I just think that this is like how Damien said, like it's all good things come to an end, unfortunately. I don't expect them to stay in the basement though, because their organization is just so freaking stable and so stellar. So that even if they have a couple of down years or something like that, they're going to bounce right back and be in the conversation. So I'm not shedding no tears for them coming in last.
I hear you. I know you're not. I just can't see it. I can't see the Steelers having that. Even if they do finish last, I can't. 6-11 is too hard for me to believe. And I'm with you, man. Obviously, it's a major downgrade from Ben Roethlisberger. But what they got from Ben Roethlisberger hadn't been really great over the past couple of years. But they did make the playoffs, and a lot of that had to do with their defense. Ella, you're shaking your head. I know it's
well, no. I'm shaking my head about the fact that I think that yes, Ben couldn't just whirl it down the field like how he used to, but that guy was so freaking annoying because he never held on to the ball though. He had one of the quickest, like he could just dump it off real fast. So that's his decision making was really, really good. So even though they got a lesser version of Ben still brought the mental side to the field, and he brought the fact that he could get rid of the ball really quickly. So I think that's what's really going to hurt them overall.
I can handle that. All right. I get it, and they're all valid points. But I feel like we did this whole song and dance with the Steelers before last season, and look what happened. They found themselves in the playoffs some miraculous way. It's really unbelievable. So, LA, I hate to say it, but I think the Browns finishing last for the most part because Deshaun Watson's not going to be there all year. We just don't know how many games. If I knew right now that he was playing the whole season, he wasn't suspended, I'd be singing a whole different song and dance. I might even have Cleveland winning the division because when we did our quarterback rankings last week, I had Deshaun Watson either 5th or 6th, whatever it was. I think this guy is incredible, and he can do anything that Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers, he can do anything that those guys can do. He's that good. So all that being said, they have a great running game. They have a great offensive line. They have a top 5 defense. They can do really well this year. But if they're not going to score points consistently, they got a problem. So if Deshaun Watson is out for 6 to 8 games or more, I don't think they can win and get in the playoffs. So right now, with that speculation in mind, I have him at about 8 and 9. But if Deshaun Watson I knew was playing all year, I'd probably say something like 10 and 7. It'd be a different story. But I just don't know. It's too much of a wild card, no pun intended, for me to think they're going to be a playoff team. And Jacoby Brissett, I'm not knocking him. I like him, but is he going to do much better than what Baker Mayfield did with all that talent around him? Yeah, you just got to manage a game, but is that what's going to happen? And again, this division is really tough. We're going to keep going over it. I got Pittsburgh in 3rd place with just a 1-game better record. See, I don't think they're going to be miraculous. I think they're going to be 9 and 8. I don't think they're going to be some great team this year, and I definitely don't have them going to the playoffs. But this whole division is really tough as we're going to keep going over. So I got the Steelers in 3rd. I had the Browns in 4th, but again, a lot of that is predicated on Deshaun Watson's potential suspension or likely suspension. So that's why. Otherwise, I'd be all over Cleveland right now. So I don't know, D, who do you got in 3rd? Is it Cleveland or somebody else?
I got Cleveland in 3rd because I believe Baltimore being healthy this year, they're going to play a lot better. And like you said, with Deshaun Watson missing possibly 6 games, that's going to hurt. Now, I do believe in Jacoby Brissett to be able to hold down the fort for 4 to 6 games. Now, if it's longer than that, if it's 8, 10, 12, that's where you get into trouble and you could see them finish in last place. But Brissett's a good backup quarterback who can hold down the fort, especially with that running game. They run the ball. He just makes throws here and there. That defense is still good. I can see them playing well through that. I have them finishing 9 and 8 this year. They could make the playoffs. I have to look at all my records to see if they're going to make it through my predictions, of course. But I had them finishing 3rd behind Baltimore and, of course, Cincinnati. I still trying to go back and forth in my mind right now between those two, honestly.
I know. When you talk about the top, it gets real tough. And LA ain't loving this right now. But, I mean, look, no joke, LA. Cleveland is one of the best rosters in the NFL. Especially when Deshaun Watson is their quarterback. They really do have one of the best rosters, but I can't count on him right now. I just don't know if he's going to be there or not. That's why I have him down there. But who do you got in third? Is it Cleveland, or did you be real? No, you're very unrealistic. All right, go ahead. Baltimore in third.
I actually had the Bengals in third.
Bengals in third, so they're dropping down. All right. How many wins do you think they got?
I'm not clear on that because, like I said, I'm still going over that part right now.
All right.
But I have them in third because of the fact that I still think that there's some things defensively that they need to address. Even though I know a lot of people didn't give I think that honestly, them making the playoffs and going to the Super Bowl, I think they got hot at the right time. They got hot at the right time.
That's
and
fair.
They also took advantage of teams in their division. Baker was hurt. Everybody on the Ravens except for Harbaugh was hurt. And we knew what was going on with the Steelers. So they took advantage of that as far as being in a division or whatever. And then they just caught fire, which is what you're supposed to do, you know what I'm saying, in the playoff run. But I just think that they come back to earth. And like I said, again, I think I said it on the show before, is that it's an actual fact that a lot of the teams that make it to the Super Bowl, they normally have the year after it's a down year.
Yeah.
So with everybody else getting healthy in the division, of course, Watson is always going to be a question mark for right now until we know. But with everybody else getting healthy and stuff like that, I just think, and then also too with everybody seeing that the Bengals were able to go to the Super Bowl, now people are really gonna gear up and play against them. They're gonna have that target on their back. Yeah. So that's why I think they're just gonna have an overall down year.
I understand that, and history would kind of dictate that. So you definitely make a lot of sense in that area. And I also agree with what you said. They really caught. They didn't even catch fire. They caught luck in a bottle, and look, they almost even won the Super Bowl. Let's not forget that they were up 20-16 in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, and they almost stopped them. All right, and then when the Rams took the lead, Burrow had a great pass to Jamar Chase, took it down past midfield. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, Cincinnati is actually going to come back, either tie this thing up, go to overtime, or maybe even win it. And then Aaron Donald took over. We all saw what happened on third down. And then on fourth down, he got the sack on third, and then on fourth down, he got to Burrow. And Burrow spins around, throws the ball. I'm like, oh, my God, who's going to catch this one? I thought, but nope. So I'm with you.
Let's not also forget that Chase was open on that play.
You're right.
When Donald got to him, it could have easily been a Bengals Super Bowl victory if it was for Aaron Donald, for sure.
You're right, man. You're right. They really caught a lot of luck last year, but at the same time, they are good. We know that Joe Burrow is absolutely the real deal. There's no denying that. So everything from LSU, if there was any questions, he already proved that he could play in the NFL, and he's going to be one of those top 5 guys. Some people already have him in the top 5. Pair that with Jamar Chase, and of course, running back. Why can't Joe Mixon? Higgins also. So they can score. Their offensive line had been the shaky question mark, and the defense definitely exceeded expectations the way they were playing last year. So, yeah.
The thing with the Bengals, though, and this is another reason why I kind of weighted like this, is because their strength is also playing into the strengths of the defenses. Because if you pay attention, if you look at the AFC North, the Ravens have an amazing secondary. The Browns have an amazing secondary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The Steelers are pretty good in the secondary as well. So we all prepared for them and their receivers. And actually, when I think Burrow had talked about this on a podcast. He was just like, dang, he was like, I just never can beat the Browns. I don't know what it is. We're undefeated. We're undefeated against them. Even last year we went undefeated against them. So I think everybody else in the division is really, they've really built themselves around to make sure that they could face that kind of threat, that kind of that air assault that they have.
All right. Well, they definitely have an air assault. Burrow had a game over 500 yards he threw for last year. Chase went over 200 yards a couple of times.
Yep.
Firepower is there. It is there. So, all right. Well, yeah, we'll see. Nicky had a nice call. That shit. Cincinnati was going to be a sneaky team last year. And they were. They snuck all the way into the Super Bowl and almost won the damn thing. All right, so you got Cincinnati in third place. So who's in second place, LA?
Your Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
Not realistically, how y'all said earlier, our roster is really, really good, especially on the defensive side. Really, really good. The weaknesses that we do have though is like, and it may not even be a weakness if we get what we can get out of my guy Perrion Winfrey, but our defensive tackles are definitely like a weak spot for us. But with us bringing back Clowney and stuff like that, that answered a big giant question for me. So that helped out a lot there. And then of course you guys already know about our running game. And then if I had to pick another weakness too, I would probably say our depth at wide receiver, because yes, we have Cooper, we have Donovan Peoples-Jones, but then after that, it's like, we got a couple of X factors still to kind of iron ourselves out. You know what I mean? Like they have talent, they have things like that. But if you're just like on the outside looking in, you could say like, dang, well, who's these guys at receiver? You know what I mean? So that's another kind of thing too. And then also too, we need to see if David Njoku is going to make that leap that they're expecting him to make.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there is some questions and everything. And then of course the biggest question of it all is Deshaun Watson, even though I like the fact of who they picked to be his backups, because if you looked at like our last couple years with Baker, it would be Baker and then it's like Case Keenum, and they're completely different skill sets, right? So, but when it comes to Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett, and then Josh Dobbs, I'm not saying they're all as good or can be as good as Watson, but it's like you don't have to change up too much. You know what I mean? Like they all kind of like have a similar skill set. So I think that was another big deal for us too, to be able to get somebody to line up behind him like that.
All right, man. All right. Definitely making a good case. Like I said, D, they got a great roster. There's no doubt about it. And look, Deshaun Watson's just going to make him that much greater when he gets under center. So I'm here and there. So you got Cleveland in second. D, who you got in second?
I'm going Cincinnati at number 2.
Okay.
LA does make a great argument for them being at number 3, though, for sure. Like they only went 10-7 last year. Like you said, they caught fire in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. And you do usually see those teams take a step back. I do think they continue off that momentum, though, just because they have something special there with such a young team that caught fire. It's not like when the Giants caught fire those years and came right back down to earth after making it to the Super Bowl. It's a team that has more of a cohesion and more just that young core that's building together. So I do think they continue to improve. And the offensive line got better. That was their biggest weakness last year, was the O-line. It did improve that. So I think they can finish second in division. I can see them getting 11 wins this year for sure. They were able to, like I said, improve on their weaknesses. And Joe Burrow only is going to get better. Chase is only going to get better. Higgins is only going to get better. I can see Mixon continuing to improve as well. So because they're so young and because they don't know any better, they don't know that they're not supposed to do that year. They don't like they're like, oh, we did it. This is what we're supposed to do. We did it. All right, let's go back. Like they don't know that was an anomaly or that was a kind of a weird thing that happened for them to make the Super Bowl. They don't know that at all. So I think they continue to improve on that and will be really good this year. But LA does make a great point. So I wouldn't be shocked if it happened because he does make some great points there.
I wouldn't be shocked either. And my second place team, I went back and forth. I'm with you, man. I ultimately ended up going with the Bengals winning the division. So I'll talk about the Ravens. Let me finish over Cincinnati. I think they're going to win the division. And a big reason why is because what you just said, they're too dumb to realize how good they are. So they're just going to go out and play. They're young. They're stupid. They're having fun. They're football players. They're loving it. And I don't think that – I just think Joe Burrow is one of those coolest quarterbacks. He's one of those guys that's just going to go out there and play every game hard and make plays that you just are going to wow you. He's going to be a great quarterback for a long time. So I really like what Cincinnati has. And again, on paper, they did nothing but improve from a Super Bowl team last year. So why not? The Baltimore Ravens, absolutely, I can see them finishing in first, but I got them one game behind Cincinnati. I got the Bengals with 11 wins, 11-6, and the Ravens at 10-7 because everything is revolved around Lamar Jackson in that offense, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a great thing because he's so freaking unbelievable. It's like nothing we've ever seen in our entire lives. But if you put too much on him, he's going to eventually get hurt like he did last year, and you cannot replace Lamar Jackson in that offense because it's predominantly a running offense that we talked about with J.K. Dobbins. Your best receiver is your tight end. Baltimore is definitely going to have to improve on defense and offense. There's no doubt on paper. But, again, what if these key guys do get hurt? We saw what happened. We saw what happened when Lamar Jackson's not in there. That worries me. Joe Burrow, yes, he got hurt the year before last with an ACL. Anything can happen to any quarterback. I do love Baltimore's roster. I like the Bengals roster just a little bit more. And I don't think that – I think that unfortunately, and God forbid, I don't want anybody to get hurt, that if Lamar Jackson gets hurt, that's just much more worse for the Ravens than, if Joe Burrow were maybe to go out for a few weeks. But that's the thing. I don't see Burrow getting hurt as much now since they've shored up that offensive line. They're going to get the ball out of his hands quick. I think they've realized from the certain mistakes that they've had in the past. So that's why I got Baltimore there at second. I'm not – look, LAD, it wouldn't shock me at all if they finished in first. That's how good they are. That's how great of an organization it is. That's what an MVP Lamar Jackson is. But they all got to stay healthy and together. And I do have legitimate question marks about that defense right now because a lot of their big-name players are gone. And they've kept the culture, no doubt. But I'm going to wait and see this year. I think they can be scored upon. And they did get scored upon last year by a few teams that shouldn't be scoring on them, like Detroit. And then that shootout with Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City's got a great offense, so don't get me wrong. But no running game. They weren't so great against the run. I just have a lot of question marks about Baltimore right now. Too many where I can say, all right, I'm all gung-ho. They're going to be back 100%. It's too much Lamar Jackson central, That's my problem.
I could definitely understand your hesitation with Baltimore for sure. My thing is, just from a law of averages, they shouldn't have as many injuries this year. Just from just the universe, they shouldn't have that many injuries again. Like it's for them to have that many injuries back to back would be unprecedented for sure.
Crazy. Yeah.
So I just think on that standpoint, they're going to be better because when they are fully healthy, they are a really good team. Lamar Jackson, I think, has something to prove. He's hearing all this stuff. He saw the ESPN list where he's not in the top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So he's seen these things. I think he has something to prove. And I made the jokes last year. All their running backs were stay-at-home dads last year.
Yep.
Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell, who's now going to be a professional boxer. Like,
right.
Like, think about that. And the fact that now they're bringing back a J.K. Dobbins and those other running backs. And you said J.K. Dobbins, because of that system and because defense have to respect Lamar Jackson so much, he's going to go crazy. He averages 5.5, 6 yards a carry in this offense. He has such a dynamic attack because of Lamar Jackson. So I see this team being very, very good. That secondary is going to definitely be better. Last year, it was just Humphreys by himself out there. I think they're going to have a better secondary because of the health this year. So I can see them going 12-5 this season.
Okay, 12. That's a hell of a lot of wins right there. 12-5, especially in this division where you think if they're going to lose maybe half of them, go 3-3. That may be every team in that division the way that it is. So LA, obviously, you do agree with him. You think Baltimore is going to be the cream of the crop in the AFC North. How many wins do you think they get and why?
I'm not sure about the wins again, but I will say that I like how Damien said, it's a lot. They can't get that injured again. That's crazy. They would have to do an FDA investigation or something like that. If they got injured like that again. I know everybody wants to always point out the Ravens wide receivers, right, as a weak point. But to me, with them having a Lamar Jackson, they never really you've seen them try to bring in a number one type of wide receiver and it just don't work out. He doesn't, he loves Mark Andrews, right? And then whoever else gets open, they get open. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. So him having a star there, I don't really think is too important in that scheme that they have up there, right? Also too, what Damien said about Lamar having something to prove. Not only does he see the disrespect of him not being on a certain list, but he also just seen Deshaun Watson get one of the biggest bags ever, right?
Yeah.
His contract situation is coming up, and he represents himself. He doesn't have an agent. So
that's right.
He's gonna go out there. He's betting on himself, so he's gonna have a lot to prove because he wants that bag. He loves Baltimore. Baltimore loves him, but he wants to get paid. So that's going to be actually one of the most interesting storylines that I'm going to be following this season is to see how Baltimore deals with that contract.
That should be – look, I mean, Lamar, if I were, I wouldn't even step on the damn field, the practice field until they got a new contract. He is the Baltimore Ravens. They revolve their offense around him, and they're trying to protect him more. They drafted Tyler Linderbaum this year. So, you see what they're doing. They're working from the line of scrimmage, which, Damien, I've been preaching, and Lamont, also my entire life. It's all about the line of scrimmage. You got to win over there. But, cornerback, you still got Marlon Humphrey. You got Kyler Fuller who can play. They definitely got guys, but I just worry about the offense so much. Where are the points going to come from? And can you just keep giving Lamar Jackson the ball all the time, and he's going to be running all over the place when the play breaks down? That's the one thing. One of the things with him. I mean, Lamar Jackson. Don't get me wrong. He can go through his progressions. He can do it. Sometimes he just chooses not to and says, I got a better chance getting 8 to 12 yards than me just taking off right now, so I'm going to do it. And he's been, for the most part, really lucky getting away with it and not getting injured over here. But Rashad Bateman, step it up, man. Marquise Brown is out of town now. They got nobody else. Devin Duvernay, sorry, that doesn't do it for me. Like, there's nobody there. There's no one there. So it's got to be Mark Andrews, and that team is going to have to rush for well over 2,000 yards this season in order for them to be successful. That's the thing. I don't know where all this is
doing it. Between Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, and Edwards, I can see them getting 2,000 yards running the ball for sure.
They're going to have to. That's the thing. I don't know. Lamar. This is the thing. It's not even on Lamar, guys. Who the hell is he throwing the ball to?
Well, another thing too, and that's why I don't really like to do wins this early, is because we got to remember all these NFL teams are carrying like the maximum players they can carry on a team right now. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite points of the offseason is when they have to trim down the rosters, because you see so many surprise names get cut, or you see these injuries in training camp or something like that. But when them cuts start to happen, when they start trimming them rosters, you see some surprise names get cut, right? Because of whatever situation it is, whether it's they don't vibe with the team no more, whether it's a contract situation, whatever it is, we see some surprise names every single year. So that's why I'm not going to just say like, okay, damn, who's there? Because like they can still add, based off of all this other stuff that's going on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They need to add. I don't understand why they can't get a big-time wide receiver, or at least somebody who's respectable in the league, to come over and help Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews out in the passing game. Because you know what? As great as they are, guys, Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, as great as they are, if teams know that they're going to be running the ball one way or another 80% of the time, they're going to catch on. I remember that game a couple of years ago, and it's just an example where the Chargers had their number. Do you remember when the Chargers played the Ravens that playoff game in the wild card game, and the Chargers beat them up? Lamar could do nothing, did nothing until the fourth quarter, until he decided to start running all over the place, and then they actually made a comeback, and he was throwing the ball well. Don't get me wrong, but I think about that. Like if teams are gonna say, look, we're gonna sell out on the run one way or the other, defenses are going to start having more success against them, and Lamar's not going to want to run the ball as much because he's going to get hurt. This is what I worry about, guys, and he's not getting any younger.
No, I definitely can see your concerns with that, but they've been able to have success in the passing game even without a big-name receiver, because the running game brings so much attention. You have to
that's a good point. I like that.
And the safety step up. Next thing you know, Lamar Jackson's throwing to a Duvernay who can take the top off of defense. That's one thing he's good at because he's so fast. Or a Mark Andrews going a deep crosser across the middle. They're really good at those type of passes. Mm-hmm. And I think that Lamar Jackson's passing game has improved so much. The game against the Colts last year, if I remember correctly, on Monday Night Football, is where we really saw the peak of Lamar Jackson being able to pass the ball. I think he completed like 80% of his passes that night. It was an absolute just clinic of what he put on. He can do that, and you still have to worry about him running the ball. So when he does that handoff like this, and that defensive end is looking in, he can't just come in on J.K. Dobbins. That's why J.K. Dobbins is able to get 6 yards, because he's frozen. He has to stay there and protect the edge, because as soon as he goes in, Lamar's gone for 12 yards.
Absolutely.
You know the run is coming. It's so hard to stop because you don't know which run is coming.
Okay.
Like with certain teams, it's easy to load up. Like with Derrick Henry, it's going to be Derrick Henry up the middle pretty much. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of easier to load up on that compared to when you have Lamar Jackson go out the side, or you can have Gus Edwards do a swing, or whatever the running play is. It's so hard to load up because you don't know what's coming.
Yeah, LA, let's you make great points, and to carry off that, like I'm saying, it's not really on Lamar as much as it is the players around him, but those are great points, Dean. That's a great rebuttal, LA, what he said, where, okay, well, if we know that they think we're running the ball, well, let's use it to our advantage and let's let Lamar loose, because he's absolutely right. Lamar Jackson can throw the ball, throw it accurately. His MVP year, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, so he can throw the ball. I just worry who is getting the ball on the other end.
Yeah, like I said again, like I don't think their scheme really needs it. I don't like they just need somebody capable, because like how Damian said, like I really hate playing against the Ravens, man, because you just don't know like, you know what I'm saying? Like when we was able to contain him for a little bit, and then he had his little poop break thing, and then came back. Like we were containing him the entire game. Then it was like he just got it out of his system, and then came back and just
he literally got it out of his system.
Yeah. Yeah. And then and then crushed us like after that. Like it's so tough like scheming for him, man.
You're right.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Jason, as far as the things and the questions that you have as far as their roster, but man, the Ravens are just dangerous, man.
They are.
And so that's why I got them at number 1.
Hey, man, look, there's a reason why they even remained competitive last year without Lamar Jackson, because they are a great organization and they are tough and they do represent everything the AFC North is about with smash mouth football, black and blue games. You're coming out on a stretcher type shit, so I totally get it. And look, I am rooting for Lamar Jackson. I'm one of those who absolutely roots for the guy because he is that special. He really, really is. So we will see. I know that Nikki's husband is loving that right now with the Ravens talk right here. But, yep. The family night, we didn't even see Ma for knowledge with Nikki this time, but that's okay. It was football, so she missed out on an all right one. That's all right. So, all right, you guys got Baltimore winning the division. I still think Cincinnati by a game, but time will tell, and I can't wait to watch. This is going to be an awesome division to watch. It really is. They're going to beat each other up, and I don't know who the hell is going to be healthy come playoff time and who's going to come out of it. We'll see, but we're going to talk a lot more about it all NFL season long. All right, so we got more action coming for you, but we're about to get out of here before we do it. LA, 3rd and 3, baby, you're in. We're freaking happy about it, but you do a lot more stuff, so tell the people what they're missing, what they need to know.
Well, thanks again for having me. It was an honor to be able to replace Nikki for this week. So I know the Queen will be back next week. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I did her proud. You can definitely catch me writing for the 3rd and 3 podcast.com. And then also too, we do Brownstown USA. So catch us over there at Brownstown USA on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we we cover the Browns. And like I said, hopefully some other things will be coming down the pipeline, just trying to get more into, sports again, get into that groove again, because, COVID kicked everybody's butt for a second, and had to realign some different things. So, but no, again, hey, thank you guys again for welcoming me into the family. And, I can't ready to get back to work.
Man, like we said, you've always been in the family. We just had to sign the official documentation over there so everybody else knows that you're always in the family, man. And we are very freaking happy that you are. But it comes full circle, man. It's LA, going back 10 years ago, and here we are again, man. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm really excited about what you're going to bring, and I know that you're going to bring in people, unique visitors. It's going to be awesome, man. You're like a magnet, bro. So I'm looking forward to it. And D, you're the real deal for a reason, bro. All right? Tell them what's up, man. Your show kicking ass. You're doing beautiful things all over the place. And by the way, I had a freaking blast on the NBA draft show that you did, man. I had a blast. It was so much fun. I still need to know who's got the best team in that NBA all-time draft, but you did a great job organizing that, man, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so you can find me on social media at The Real Deal WDA. That's The Real Deal, W as in whiskey, D as in Delta, A as in Alpha. I'm very active on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok now. Usually see my head popping up on different things, doing reaction videos. It could be to a boxing match. It could be to an NBA rumor. It could be just my trade ideas. It could be anything that comes to mind. I'm throwing things out there all the time. So please go ahead and follow me. I'm definitely very active and will, follow you back and interact with you on social media, especially, Twitter. That's where most of the time I'm at, but then the videos will be everywhere. As far as the podcast, The Real Deal with Damian Adams, go ahead and subscribe to it now. If you're listening to the 3rd and 3 podcast, keep that good content in your life. It keeps your blood cholesterol down, keeps your blood pressure down. It keeps you healthy, man. So keep that good content in your life by subscribing to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Jay just referenced the last episode. We did an all-time NBA team draft where 5 of us made our own leagues of 12 teams each from the NBA's history, right? And right now, Mike Patton has the most votes for best league. So hopefully some more votes will come in.
The fix is in. I don't want
But Mike right now is winning. He definitely made a great argument for his league. I can see the marketing background and the journalism background definitely came in handy when he was making his arguments for sure. But go check out the episode, man. It was a very interesting episode. Definitely a lot of knowledge was dropped. And I love the different strategies we all had going into this about building our leagues for this. So I'll be dropping at least 1 or 2 episodes of that a week. Of course, I'll be here. I'll be writing for 3rd&3podcast.com. Everything from NFL, NBA, inboxing. Any of my WNBA content will be on the 3pointconversion.com. Definitely covering the Phoenix Mercury for the rest of this year. I'll be covering the game tomorrow night. So if you want to see like my post-game interviews with Deonta Rossi or Skylar Diggins-Smith or whoever else comes up, go ahead and just follow me and you'll see my content from the WNBA on my social media as well.
Freaking beautiful, man. You know, we have that term 24/7 in life. D's 25/8. He's got an extra day in the week and an extra hour in each day because there's no other way he can get all this stuff done. It's just not humanly possible. God bless you, man. It's unbelievable what you do. Great work. Guys, I am Jason Fearmans at SportsProfit1. That's the #1 on Twitter. I got the #1 team over here. Nikki will be back, I think, in a couple weeks from now because we have a little vacation coming up. But we might sneak a little podcast in on you next week, and then we're full go. Everything NFL. Obviously, breaking down every division. We did the AFC North today. We did the NFC West and the NFC South. Got a lot more coming up for you. So keep it tuned in over here, all right? 3rd and 3 podcast. We're out. We'll see you later. Peace.